Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fumbles and Fame Plays Tomb of Annihilation. Fumbles and Fame is an international Discord community created to connect DMs, GMs, and players all around the world to discuss and enjoy our love for RPGs as a whole, and to play them together with a particular focus on D&D. With all that being said, it is important to note that we at Fumbles and Fame are not affiliated with, endorsed, sponsored, or specifically approved by Wizards of the Coast, LLC. First, just to get them quickly out of the way, we've got a few announcements for this upcoming week in the Fumbles and Fame schedule. This Tuesday, our DDO stream returns. Join our lovely DDO players as they work through the world of Zendrick. This Tuesday at 6 p.m. It perhaps might be a little half an hour later, but you can stay tuned to the Twitter for that. Friday, June 1st, sees the return of Elemental Bane, Session 4, at 7 p.m. UTC. You can join a homebrew campaign by our very own DM Cation, delve into his mind and his world with our brave adventurers as they face all sorts of crazy things happening with nature. Saturday, June 2nd, we'll be seeing a Fumbles and Fame one-shot. And even I don't know very much about what's going on with that. So tune in at 4 p.m. UTC to find out what's going on with all those crazy antics. That's pretty much it for this week, except for the two most important things. And that's that two of our players, the lovely Shelby and Daniel, both had birthdays this past week. So show them lots of love in the chat, lots of love in our Discord, and happy birthday to you both. You can keep up with all that info and plenty more by, like I just said, joining the Discord and following us on Twitter at Fumbles and Fame. Finally, don't forget to utilize our loyalty system. For those on PC, when you hover your mouse over the bottom right corner of the video, you should see a logo. For those on mobile or tablet, there is now a little puzzle piece that you can click on, and you can redeem your earned XP simply by watching to give disadvantage, advantages, party potions, all sorts of fun stuff, and you can find all that there. With all that, let's get settled in. Now, because we've done 10 episodes, I thought it would be kind of fun for the entire party, me included with all of the other players, to kind of catch you up on the whole story, just in case you're just tuning in. So, starting us off is our lovely Tahina.
Hey guys! I play Runa Recastot here in-game. She's a cleric of Kalimvor, a Grave Domain cleric. So she was one of the first to catch on what was going on in the world. The church found out that they could not resurrect people who died. In fact, those who have been resurrected before, they were starting to rot. They were suffering from a bad curse that was called the Death Curse. And what's even worse for clerics of Kalimvor was that they noticed that everyone who died did not pass through the veil into the plane where Kalimvor judges those who are faithless, who don't belong to other belief systems and gods. And of course, the church was very concerned about that. And one former adventurer, former hero named Sindra Sylvain, reached out and called young adventurers to her to investigate what was going on, what was the cause of this curse, because she had once been resurrected and was suffering from the curse and slowly starting to decay and to rot as if her body was dead. So Runa took her best friend, Mr. T, a dwarven fighter, and answered that call in the name of the Church of Kalimvor. And in meeting up at her estate, she met her now friends and party. sorcerers and warlocks, barbarians, paladins, and she was prepared for a very long journey by boat because Chald is not just around the corner if you are living in the Sword Coast. And they had all their stuff with them. But Sindra Sylvain, having been an adventurer herself, had other means to transport the now party to those distant shores. And she teleported us. And something went horribly, horribly wrong. Maybe not that horribly.
Well, maybe not that horribly.
We ended up in Chald.
The party inadvertently was separated from Sindra Sylvain and ended up on a beach, quite a distance away from the only civilization, with an echoing, horrible laugh in their ears. Upon arrival in Chalt, they very quickly discovered that it's hot and rainy, and the sun doesn't come out very often. But they decided to push towards the city, very wary of each other, very unknowingly about who they'd been roped in together, this very hodgepodge group. You had encountered and defeated a small little group of Batiri goblins that you discovered have a tendency and enjoy fighting stacked one on top of one another. You then pushed into the city, discovering a city full of color and animal life, the likes of which you had never seen before. Huge, gigantic reptiles being used as beasts of burden and just pleasure rides and transportation around the city. It was mind-blowing and mind-altering. The markets were full of sights and smells and everything else. And after a time, you had been brought to one Wakanga Otamu, a merchant prince within Port Nyanzaru, who was apparently the reception for Sindra Sylvain and was keeping her in his manse, his villa. And while chatting with him and while discovering a little bit more about Chalt, all of a sudden, Port Nyanzaru had come under attack by the undead. Hearing the hero's call, the party ran out to fight the undead, and the cleric of Kelemvor, the Grave Domain cleric, showed just how powerful she really is, as she managed to just about turn the entire horde in one fell swoop. Continuing on, you guys had then purchased canoes and found a guide by the name of Azaka Stormfang and head off down the River Tariki. And pushing down the River Tariki, your goal was to find Firefinger, a spire, a tower-like spire in the middle of the jungle. You had mostly encountered small things, dealing with snakes and mad monkey mist and kind of becoming familiar with all of the hazards of Chult, when you had been beset by some of the biggest hazards in Chult. 2 plesiosaurs had begun to attack your canoes. And the battle was not going well until ice formed around your canoes, and a man had saved you. Selenia being the one that discovered him. A man by the name of Artis Simber, who displayed particular talents for cold-based magics. And you had joined him and his companion, a strange saurial humanoid by the name of Dragonbait, and you had all pushed on to Firefinger. Daniel?
I'm Daniel. I play Selenia, the paladin of Monitor. We pick up at Firefinger. The group found out that Azaka Stormfang is afraid of heights, so she didn't join them in the journey up into the Firefinger Tower. First person to rush in was Mr. T, of course. he landed in a spider pit, so the group had to help save him from being spider bait. After they defeated the spiders, they went up another floor of the tower. That's where Selenia revealed her hair, and it glows in the dark, basically. And then she took the lead and stepped out of the tower's edge and fell off because the wind was so strong. Thanks to Runa and her familiar Corvin, she was able to revive, and with the help of Morthos and Mr. T coming down from the tower and help her back up. They ascended to the third floor of the tower. They found a Arakakara named Nafir. Saved him from a group of terror birds. He promised them that they would receive a gift for saving him if they ever go to his hometown, which was
Kirsabal.
Kirsabal, yeah. And then he left them, and they finished ascending the tower. At the top, they fought at least a dozen or so terror birds. Defeated them, of course. Sin found a whistle that allows him to summon 3 small raptors to help him whenever he needs it. After that, they went back down the tower, noticed that Artist and Dragonbait were gone, so they decided to move on. They traveled for a while and then camped. Woke up the next morning and found out that Mr. T was gone. Looked at everywhere, found out that some grung took him by some little feet prints. They followed the tracks, and in the middle of the night, they ran into a camp with a very scared elf woman named Ambrosia. Happened to have tracks of grung went through her camp at some point. She didn't know about them, but she knew where they lived. She led them to the grung's home town. How do you say that?
Dung Grung Lung.
Dung grung grung. I can't say it. There. Is that where I'm leaving off? They came to it. It's a fortress, basically, surrounded by a maze of thorns that constantly change, so they had to find a way through. Am I still
All
going?
right.
Or is
Nope.
this Tony's turn?
All right. Tony, you take over now.
Hello, I'm Tony. I play Sin the Barbarian. He's a Storm Herald. He's one with Talos at the moment. And so as they venture into Grunglund, they have to go through a series of tests, and it's a moment where they have to draw a door with a pigment, and Sin picks up that painting feat very quickly. It wasn't a great door, but it got them through, and they unfortunately was able to pass the door. As they kept ascending, they eventually got betrayed, and they help me out, Tolley.
Well, you had performed a ritual to distract the grung. You had rescued Mr. T, drawn the door, ran outside, and Ambrosia had revealed herself to be a Yuan Ti.
That's right.
Leading an army that was sweeping across the lands of Chult, killing anything in their way, and escaping from their grasps. You had ran all the way, essentially, to Camp Vengeance. And then from there, you discovered that Camp Vengeance was a horrible, horrible place, rife with disease, and a nobleman from Waterdeep who had no idea what he was doing, which angered Mr. T. And Mr. T kind of took control of the camp in a way and traveled with you to Imbala, where you were to perform a rescue mission. But upon arriving at Imbala, this weird place with all of these skulls around and everything else, Mr. T had decided to leave the party and had decided to go back and lead the Order of the Gauntlet back out of the jungles of Chult. And that's where Nate will pick off our story.
Hi everyone, I'm Nate. I play Galindin Goltaroth, the Wood Elf Ranger fighter. He arcane archer. He met up with the party, or spied, I guess, on the party a little bit to see what they were all about at Nanny Poo Poo's hut. She was a hag of a type, and she had a flesh golem that she decided to sick on us. So we fought her and the flesh golem together. We dispatched both of them, and we decided that it was best to burn their bodies and her hut down to restore the order and the natural balance. After that, we sort of decided that it would be our goals aligned in that the Emerald Enclave was here, and I was a representative or agent of the Emerald Enclave, and that the Soulmonger and needing to be destroyed was the same purpose. So that's how the friendship now started, as a sort of mission. We then traveled a little bit. We knew that we had to get to Oralunga to learn more about the Soulmonger, the force that was sort of giving everything this death curse. We arrive shortly after first meeting, even, to the Stone Ziggurat, where we find these little sprite, well, not us all, but Runa saw these tiny, tiny little sprite creatures, Chawingas, who decided to help us, up the ziggurat. After sort of picking flowers and eating snakes and ascending the tower, we all sort of get visions of the past, present, and bits of the future, perhaps, or a sort of dreamlike thing. When we see, and I think it was, I have it in my notes as a strange person, but that was Artis Simber we met at the top, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so we met Artis Simber at the top, and he looked out of it, so we went in and found a guardian naga, who, or what it is a sort of snake-like creature with a woman's face. Very unnerving. And she spat on us, or she ate us, or she did stuff to us that made us better somehow, in some way. Galinda became wise. When we descended that, we camped with Dragonbait and Artis Simber for a night, and Galindin and Artis Simber had a pretty revealing conversation. I figured out that he has and holds the Ring of Winter, which is where he gets his cold-based magics from. And we learned some other things about Acerak and Omu and Raznisi. But we knew that we had to venture on, and as I guess Galindin found out, that Artis Simber and Dragonbait are aloof, and they were not there in the morning, and they're just gone. So we decided to move on, and we eventually find a place called Camp Righteous, where we find tiny little birds with axes that seemed on their faces, on their beaks, and we freed them and avoided a confrontation with their parents. So we went inside this giant statue with a sitting man with a crocodile over his back. The Camp Righteous, the tomb, I guess, of something or someone. But we decided that to go in and look and find stuff, and we fell down traps, and we stepped on little tiles of different animals. And we figured out that being on someone's shoulders is sort of like the trick of the puzzle. So we ended up getting the like loot item or the thing in the chest, and it ended up being a alchemy jug that we have no idea how to use. And yeah, we traveled down the river.
The river Soshenstar, to be accurate. And Will, this is where you take over the story.
So the party decides to travel up the river to head back to Port Nyanzaru. There was a bit of a debate on to which side of the river we should stay at. The side of the river which didn't seem like there wouldn't be any conflict whatsoever. And also the other side of the river where even, I think on our player maps, had a skull on it. We decided to be on the right side of the river and go straight through that skull. Well, what ended up happening is that we fought a undead T-Rex sort of thing that had all kinds of little nasties inside of it. And after some horrible conflict, our amazing cleric died. But thankfully there was only like one round of combat left, so we dispatched the rest of the zombies very quickly. And it was in that moment Morthos decided to sacrifice himself to the Raven Queen to bring back Runa. And in a way, yes, he did make some sort of sacrifice, truly. He was successful in bringing back Runa, but he also brought back with himself the forceful affliction of the death curse, with it fully affecting his heart. There was also, not to mention, the voice that he heard. You cannot weave a tapestry without all its threads. So that was really that was rough, guys. That was really rough. All right. So in a very sober and grateful and the party being closer together than ever before, we made it back to Port Nyanzaru. Morthos just immediately wanting to get drunk. The rest of the party wanting to do their own thing for a little bit until we interacted with the dino races. Personally, Morthos lost a bit of money, but he didn't care. There was also Ven and Glendon. Both of you guys try to affect the races in your own personal favor. So far as only as we know, Ven was the only one caught. Glendon wasn't. More on that later, I guess. But yeah.
All right, and Shelby, bring us home. Bring us to now.
So yeah, obviously I'm Shelby. I live in Claremont, the Dampier Shadow Sorcerer. So yeah, we were at the dino races, and with the dinosaurs being named such things as Scarback and Nasty Boy, which we just had to bet on. We I tried to rig the race with some magical means. Didn't think I would get caught. Apparently I was. I was also very drunk because I found out that our alchemy jug produces wine, which was great. So I haven't let that leave my hands since. But yeah, I won a bit of money. I think Lyndon won a bit of money. Everybody else went even or didn't make anything or lost. And we went to go do our separate things. Some of us went to go shopping. Some of us went down to the docks. And somehow, some way, Ven got separated from the rest of the party. And, well, she was quote-unquote attacked or threatened by some thugs saying she rigged the races. Well, she could have handled it. She really could have. But this, blur of mass destruction murdered them all instantly and claimed to be her sister. Come to find out, her sister, quotations, had assaulted Morthos the night before in his bedchambers, which he doesn't really remember, but apparently Glendon is very upset about. So
That sounds a lot worse than it really was.
it didn't really. There was no assaults. There was no fang action. Just a little bit of threat. And yeah, this creature in front of Ven claimed to be her sister, i.e., her vampire sister, but still looked like her, which threw Ven off. Ven's not happy with it, but she escaped from her sister and continued to send her letters. And I guess her sister found out about her letters. Ven may have told her. She may not have. And Glendon found out about the vampire first. He actually knew about her before anyone else. I guess Morthos sort of did, but he doesn't remember. And so he went on this vampire hunt because he's got a real like bone to pick with them for some reason. And long story short, a lot of people died. A lot of people died. There was a big bloodbath. Someone blamed the worshippers of Soon, but it was definitely Ven's sister Rosalind. And Glendon's gonna get Ven and himself killed because he's investigating too much. But that's, to be expected. And we've discovered that, or decided to take a boat south to get to our destination, which is Omu, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to pay a big giant fee, or we're gonna have to pay a big giant fee to get this boat. And we also are gonna have to make a deal with a dragon turtle. So we're asleep in our beds, I believe, and I guess it's about to be the next morning.
Perfect. So, let's begin today's session. Thanks for bearing with us as we told you the entire tale up until this point. And as we join in now with the story, the party, you all awaken, rubbing the sleep out of your eyes and thinking about all that you've been through in the last 2 months that you have now been on this peninsula, this horrible, hostile jungle peninsula. Morthos, you awaken feeling a little bit worse than the day before. Mechanically speaking, you lose yet another hit point off of your hit point maximum. And you all now kind of all get up and do your own rituals and your own prayers and your own set things. Then you brush your hair the set number of times that you have, and make sure that everything is prim and proper, that all of the buckles are fine, and everything looks as it should be. Sin, you perform your very raucous tune, the bongos ringing out like thunder throughout Kaya's House of Repose. Morthos, you stand shirtless in front of kind of a dressing mirror in the room, and you can just see that those blackened veins from your heart are spreading, small, but they are spreading, a sign that the death curse slowly drags you into oblivion. Runa, you pray over your spells and prepare for the day. Same with you, Selenia, having had dreams and now a further knowledge of your holy power. And Galindin, you probably are just sitting and meditating and thinking. The morning is yours.
Yesterday, Ben asked me if I would be able to send a message to her father, and
Yes.
brought to me the idea that there is such a thing as a spell for clerics to contact people wherever they are on the same plane of existence. So Runa has been praying to Kalimdor and prepared the spell sending. And because she can cast it several times a day, she decides to try this spell out, because before Ben brought it up, she would never have considered that there would be a possibility to reach her mother, who she found out through the prophecy of Sajambaza, the Naga prophetess in Mbala, that her mother herself is suffering from the curse. And she's going to send a 25-word message to Rika, the high priest of Kalimdor in Waterdeep.
Okay.
Should I just read it out loud? Yeah, right. I can. It's like I'm speaking,
Mhm.
right? Or is it something that I write and it disappears, or how does it work in?
You speak it. You have to have a
Okay.
short piece of fine copper wire, which you don't really need because you're praying over your holy symbol, which is essentially your arcane focus.
Mhm.
You send a short message of 25 words or less to a creature with which you are familiar. The creature hears the message in its mind, recognizes you as the sender if it knows you, and can answer in a like manner. So yes, it is like a spoken message.
All right. Then I'm going to cast a spell by praying over my holy symbol, which is scales held up by a skeletal hand. And I send it to my mother, and I say, "Mom, I know. The Soulmonger is being used by Azarek, a lich, to feed the Atropole. It lies in Omu, Western Child. I love you." It's exactly 25 words. I wrote it down to make sure.
Well done. Well done. You kind of the spell kind of washes over you, and it kind of for a second you feel almost empty, almost like, well, that didn't work. It just, I just sent it who knows where, right? An email without an address kind of thing.
I look at Corbin, who sits on my knee. I'm sitting cross-legged on the floor and say, I think
And
it didn't
then
work.
all of a sudden in your head, you hear, "Runa, I have faith. I know you can do this. Kalimdor be with you." And it just fades away.
Mom. And I hug my raven maybe a bit harder than I should hug a bird.
Inadvertently put him in his pocket dimension. Oh no. All right, perfect.
And I think to myself, oh, thank you, Ven. It works, and it's such a fantastic spell. I think I'm going to jump out of my room and run over to hers and like, Ven, are you awake yet?
Ven is awake and she's looking around, making sure there's no special gifts from her sister this morning.
No, there is not.
Okay. She's checking to make sure that part of scalp is, or skin or whatever, is still in the bottom of her backpack.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's gonna go and open the door to Runa.
Okay.
I have this big grin on my face. I think you have never seen Runa so happy ever since you met her. And she's grabbing your hand, or I'm grabbing your hand, and like, you are brilliant.
I know.
And amazing. Your idea, it was perfect. I tried that spell that you told me about, that you thought I would be able to cast. I never considered that I could cast it, and it worked. I just contacted my mother.
Is she well? I'm so glad for you.
I don't think she's well, but she's holding on, and I have your hands, and I like gently squeeze them, and like, but it worked. Thank you so much for this idea. That was. I feel much better now that I talked to her.
I'm glad it worked. I'm happy you got to speak with her.
Me too.
Can you release my hands? Your grip is very strong.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
Be glad that she's not a huggy type. So if you want me to send a message to your father, we could totally do that. I think you have to describe him a bit more, and maybe we could, if you have something like, do you have a locket with a picture or something?
I have a letter that he sent me with. It's not really like a letter. It's kind of like just like a little note that he wrote me when I was really young, and it just tells me that he loves me, and I carry it everywhere with me to remember and to feel that love that he always gave me. And Ven kind of like looks around and is like, "This is really awkward. Get in here." And she pulls you in the room and closes the door.
Okay.
And she pulls out the note, and you can see that it's masculine, but it's very elegant handwriting. And it just says, "My dearest Livin, I will always love you. You will always be my daughter, my only daughter." And then his signature. And so have I told you about out of character? Has Ven told you that this is her sister? I think she just told you that it was her father's spawn.
Yes, I do think so. I'm not I think you told her that the spawn called herself your sister. But
Yeah.
from the way
probably.
you told me that Runa is totally convinced that it's not really your sister. It's just someone.
Well, Ven's not convinced it is either. Yeah, but she's not going to believe it. And so that this note has significant meaning at this point because there's this girl claiming to be her sister. And it's
people, most likely.
Yeah. And so Ven, says, this is the closest thing I have to him right now because he's so far away. But I can tell you about him if you want.
Yeah, please.
If that'll help.
Tell me what he looks like, what he's like, his name, everything to paint a picture in my mind, so I will reach him.
Okay. My father's name is Dorn Claremont. He's very tall. He's 6'8", and he's thin but strong. He's got dark black hair, a very aristocratic face, and angular. He is a vampire. He's a full vampire. And he's the Lord Claremont of Darkhold. He rules Darkhold. And he's a military man. He has an army that is the reason why he is a lord. That's how he gained his lordship. And he's not nice. He's a very, I won't say cruel, but he's a very uncaring and unfeeling man, except for around his family. With us, he's very different. He's very sweet and kind and caring and would do anything as we would do anything for him. Our words, I should say, are family and honor. That's what we live by. That's our code. Family and honor, nothing else. So he's, honor bound, but family comes first to him. So, you think that'll work?
I'm ready to give it a try.
Okay, how do we do this?
The best thing would be if you jot down the note that you want me to transmit, because I have to say it out loud and concentrate on the person that I'm sending it to. And you have to know it has to be a very short message, only 25 words.
Oh, that is not a lot at all.
No, it isn't. It really isn't. But I can send it, if he's on the same plane of existence with us, I can send it to him wherever he is.
He's not really like a plane hopper, he tends to stay at home.
Do you know if it's day or night where your parents are right now? Because I don't know a lot about vampires, but aren't they like a little bit dead?
They just kind of sleep. They don't die, I guess.
Because I don't know if he has to be awake and conscious, or if it would work when he's
It goes directly into his mind, so I guess he would more or less believe it's a dream
Oh my
if
God.
he's asleep.
He can answer
Which
with a few
vampires
words.
don't really. Yeah, and vampires don't really dream, so I think he would receive it one way or another.
Okay. And if it doesn't work now, we can always try it at night.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
So you said I was gonna have to roll and she was gonna have to roll or something?
Yeah, first I need you to roll a performance check.
A performance check, okay.
Yep, to
Oh,
see
for the
how well you describe your father.
Shit.
And remember, if you roll a 1, we still have the blessing of Timora from last session.
Yes, you do.
Okay, that's a 21.
Wow.
21. Okay. So with a pretty good image in your mind, I need you to make a spellcasting ability check. So just a d20, add your spellcasting ability modifier with your proficiency.
Oh yeah, that's good then. All right. I rolled an 18, and with a +8, that's 26, right?
Uh-huh. Okay. So you read the message.
Out loud, yes.
Uh,
That then hands me. I concentrate on Don Claremont, Lord of Darkhold, and the way she described him and his mannerisms. And I will say out loud, and he's most likely going to be confused because he hears my voice,
uh-huh.
but it's Ven's words. And I would say, holding my holy symbol, Father, I had the misfortune of meeting Rosalind. Control your spawn before she destroys our family. She will kill me. Family and honor. Home soon. And I wait to see what happens.
You get this kind of soft ping in the back of your head. And you hear, I do not know who you are or what you have done with my Ven, but I will kill you. And that's all you hear.
Well, isn't your father a real charmer?
This is great, isn't he?
And yeah, he just said that he's going to kill me. I'm very enamored of him already.
He won't kill you. I mean, I won't let him. At least he knows I'm alive.
Fantastic. As soon as I recover those spell slots, I will send another message like, "Hi, I'm your daughter's friend Runa." Because I have only 2 spell slots for sending.
Good news is he's really far away, so it's gonna take him some time to kill you.
And if he arrives here, you are here as well. And I can say like, "Here's your daughter." And he got the message. That's the silver lining on the whole death threat.
Thank you for risking your life for me. Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope he was not just so flabbergasted by hearing a stranger's voice in his mind that he totally missed the whole message about control the spawn and stuff like that.
We'll see, I guess.
Hopefully. I can try tomorrow again if you want.
We may have to, just so he doesn't kill us.
But it worked. So
Together, do you guys go downstairs for breakfast?
Yes, I'd say so.
Okay. I'd say that probably the rest of you at this point have come down for breakfast as well, and inadvertently you come to kind of your table here. It's funny, you haven't really been at Kaya's for 2 months, but she seems to recognize that you are people of import, and she provides a space for you always. And you sit down, and she comes forward, and she actually puts a rather hearty meal in front of you, and she says, "It's on the house. I have a feeling you have a very long journey ahead of you."
Indeed. Thank you.
And says thank you.
Puts it in front of you. There is hadrosaur milk, there's tej, there's different kinds of grilled vegetables, some ground up nuts that are pretty good to eat, and some very delicious fruit. It's quite a nice breakfast. And you all know that the whenever you are ready, the Brazen Pegasus awaits you to take you to the southern portion, the Chalton Peninsula.
I would like to discreetly look at Morthos's neck and see if he's any paler than normal or if he has any puncture holes.
No. Galindon, roll a quick perception check for me, will you?
Well,
Okay. Everything's regular. So yeah.
I have resummoned Corbin, by the way, from his pocket dimension, and he's sitting on my shoulder, and I give him some of the nuts and stuff like that. He
just
doesn't
kinda
really need
takes
to
them.
eat. It's just
Yeah,
It's just
he
nice.
he does eat them, and it kind of disappears in this kind of, it's almost like this spectral astral swirl inside of it, and then just kind of dissipates into itself, and it just kind of nips you on the cheek and just kind of.
another one.
I do need to go and buy more arrows before we leave. I just need one more quiver, just to be sure. Just to be,
Mhm.
yeah. But other than that, I'm good. I'm ready to leave whenever the rest of you are.
Yeah, and I spent yesterday getting us rations and insect repellent and stuff like that. So we should be good in that regard.
Morthos finish his meal first, so he's eating quickly, and he'll say to the party, "I'm still feeling homesick, so I'm gonna go see if the Pegasus needs an extra hand."
Just one quick question. What are we going to do with the dragon turtle if it shows up? We have to pay for the passage. Are we just going to draw? We had found some jewels, right? What was it? Jewels?
We have
on top of
4
Firefinger.
We have 4 gems, and then Sin and Morthos, I believe, each have an onyx figurine that might interest him.
Okay. Do you think that will be sufficient for the dragon turtle?
Almost definitely not.
So, what else could we? If you were a dragon turtle, what would you want
I mean,
as a gift for people to let them pass?
my old leather armor, perhaps? I don't know.
Maybe.
For his pinky? Like, what?
I have still some gold left. Maybe we can just throw. I mean, there's a dragon in the dragon turtle, right? Maybe just gold will suffice. Some gold coins.
We don't have much left because we have to pay an
That's
inordinate
true.
amount for the boat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and sell some of the things that I have when I go and get arrows, so maybe I can get some more coin.
Good luck. This port is very stingy with their gold.
Take Selenia with you.
Persuade them to give me money for the things I have to sell.
I can also assist with that.
I wonder if a dragon
Doesn't matter to
turtle
me.
would have use for the blessing of Kalimvor and a vial of holy water or something.
You might
I
be
would
able to talk him
assume
into it.
no.
Maybe
Don't
we
really
can
have
find
many
somebody
options.
that's dealt with a dragon turtle.
I mean, there are so many boats that come in and out of this port, right? There must be someone who's like an expert on dragon turtles who says, hey, you're a group of 6 adventurers. For a fee of, you get this nice statue and it's guaranteed to produce the dragon turtle. I don't know.
I'm gonna go looking for arrows and someone to sew.
Okay.
things to.
So you go to the digging around. Tony, are you on push to talk?
Should be.
No, you are definitely not.
Definitely am. I'm hearing every time I cue.
Anyways, so Galinden, you work your way down to the Grand Souk. You find one of the many shops of Ekeni Atha, the merchant prince that controls weapon trade here. And for a quiver of 20 arrows, you will be paying the cost of 1 gold.
I'll pay that, but then I also have a trophy from a kill that I have back on the Sword Coast. I was wondering if
Okay.
that could be like, if there's like special rabbit feet, or do you know, like if there's a special type of rabbit or other sort of small lucky animal?
Here or on the Sword Coast?
No, back in the High Forest.
I mean, maybe. You could try and deceive the guy because he's never been there, right?
Well, I do have it would be a small little bauble, a little trophy that I've kind of kept over the years. The guy, as I'm buying these arrows off of, sir, have you ever seen this type of bauble before? And I show him a little like rabbit's foot. This is off of a special creature from native only to the Sword Coast, you know.
What is it? What powers does it have?
That is an excellent question, you inquisitive-minded fellow. Well, its powers, I could tell you, but they would hurt your brain. But you asked, so get ready. They can teleport on a whim. They can shoot out spikes from their mouth. And even though they look so cute, they could kill you with the glare. Killing one of these things is said to be one of the greatest accomplishments in the High Forest. And as you can see, that is but a trophy of the kill. It is said to bring you great luck.
Something this small does all that.
Yes. I know it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe. You don't want to
Roll
believe.
a quick deception check.
Damn it.
Can I like retcon and say I went with him?
Nope.
18.
18. So why do you tell me this? Why do you show me this thing? You want to sell it?
I see that you have your trophies of your own, and I thought you might like to add to this collection.
He looks up at his differing trophies of kind of dinosaur teeth and animal bones and everything else. Seems to have the skeleton of what looks to be like a small gopher-like thing with a single horn coming out the front of it. And he just kind of says, I give you 20 gold.
See, I thought you'd go that low. Unfortunately, it almost cost me my life. It cost me my partner's life, too. All right, I'll take it, 20 gold.
Okay.
That interesting creature over there with the horn, what do you call that thing?
Oh, that is an almirage.
And what kind of magical things can that do?
Oh, they are funny little creatures. They generally do not hurt you, but they have certain ways to be illusionary, hard to catch. That skeleton alone took me 3 months to hunt down.
I understand the hunt. Look, you keep that rabbit's foot in a lucky spot. And I'm sure it will bring you nothing but good tidings and good fortune in your business. My name is Galinden. Perhaps if I survive the jungle, I could come back and we could maybe perhaps arrange some trophy selling if I bring some back for you, perhaps. And then maybe I get my arrows at a discounted rate.
You will get your arrows at the same price as everyone. I run under Ekene offer.
Oh,
I
Ekene
cannot
Alpha.
change my price.
Oh,
but
him and I are good friends.
for the right trophy, Ekene offer would reward you highly.
Do you know what kind of trophies he is looking for? I am a hunter, you see.
Big and nasty.
All right. Big and nasty. And a blight to the natural order would make a great trophy.
Sure. Don't really know what that means, but
Maintain the balance. You know?
the balance of what?
The balance. Don't worry about it. It's okay. I'll deal with the balance. I'll worry about the balance, and you worry about giving me good prices for good trophies.
I already told you, if you want good prices, go talk to the prince. Now go!
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I'm going to go use my trophy.
Okay, yeah. Use the trophy? What do you mean?
Says, well, I trade in them. I'm going to go sell it to another fool.
I'll see you later.
And you guys separate. And the rest of you, what do you wish to do? Any stops you want to make before you leave?
Someone wants to know if there's like maybe a shaman in town.
Interesting. You ask around, and you get told of a person who lives in the very high parts of Malar's throat, the valley that has the kind of rope bridges that cross over top of one another. And his name is Jahaka Chimbolo. And he apparently worships Ubtao devoutly, which is kind of, in this city, is kind of regarded as kind of an old god, a pagan god almost in a way.
With getting information of where I could find the shaman, how far would that be?
Probably take about half an hour to get all the way up to the top of Malar's throat.
Okay, that's where Sun's gonna head.
Okay.
Can I see if I can find a shop for saddles?
Saddles. There are dino saddle shops here. It's pretty expensive from what you can see already, but you approach him. What are you looking for exactly?
I'm gonna ask him if he has any Dionychus saddles for sale.
He says, I do not keep any in stock, no. I make them as per request. I do custom saddles here.
So you don't have none at all? Like any ready to go?
No, I have the smaller children's ones. for the small dinosaurs, but
Mhm.
I am in the midst of repairing from the last race.
Are you repairing one right now?
Yes. Repairing one for a racer.
How long would it take you to make a saddle?
3 days.
And so how much would it be for a Dionychus saddle?
300 gold.
Well, I'm gonna come back with my 300 gold, maybe. Will you work on a Dionychus saddle for me?
Well, I would need a deposit of at least 150 to procure the materials required to make the saddle.
Alright, well, I don't have that right now, so I'm just come back and see you again.
Have a good day.
You too.
At this point, Sin, you have climbed to the top of Malar's throat, and you can see that there is this shack up at the very top, but it's a strange shack. It's very circular, and the top of it is covered with this kind of hard tile to make it look like a shell.
And looks at it very grudgingly and goes, awkward. He walks up to the door and knocks very kind of lightly, but enough to be heard.
All you hear from the inside is, "How? How?"
Sin just kind of opens the door slowly and peeks in and says, hello.
Okay, looking in through the thick layer of incense that burns in here, you can see that carved all around the insides of the wooden supports, the walls, everything inside here is carved with these labyrinthian symbols. And sitting next to an unlit fire with a fish on a rotisserie, but not cooking on the fire because the fire is unlit, with its legs crossed, its strange claw-like fingers curled in kind of signs of supplication. It has a hard-backed shell and kind of a reptilian head, and it just kind of, ow.
Sin understands that shamans sometimes meditate, so he actually he sits down, crosses his legs, and kind of puts the stones around him as he's praying to Talos and waits for the shaman to end his meditation.
Okay, takes about 25 seconds. And all of a sudden, the kind of figure stops saying Om and just says, "A pebble disturbs the lake."
Sin reopens his eyes and says, yes, I actually, I was asking around the town, and back home on my island, there was a shaman that took very special interest in me, and I was wondering if there was some way through your shamanistic powers, if there was a way I could reach her.
Let me see you. And with a flourish, he stands up and is immediately right in front of you. And you can see he wears around his neck, you couldn't really see them before, but he kind of pulls them out of his shell and kind of stretches them out, and they kind of snap onto his head. There's these ridiculous Maz Kanata glasses from Star Wars, just making the eyes look just absolutely massive. And he just kind of kind of lifts your arm, sniffs under your armpit, kind of lowers your arm down again, takes a claw, kind of strokes the back of your neck. You feel him you feel it kind of move around you and kind of stroke your spine with its claw again, and then you see it kind of lick its claw and everything else, and no.
No.
I cannot help you.
Is there a reason why you cannot help me?
Oh. And like lifts your foot right off the ground without you, like without even your permission, and so it's kind of that horrible like balance where you're like, oh god, okay, and it just kind of lifts your foot up, and you feel the claw kind of tickle right down the center of your foot, and then you feel the claw pierce your heel.
Ow! What are you doing?
Walks over to a bowl, ding, drops the drop of blood into the bowl, and says, here.
Sin walks over and looks down at the bowl with the blood in it.
As you look down into the bowl with the blood in it, you feel your hands kind of, for some reason, you're feeling angry. So angry. The lightning begins to crackle along your skin, and you're thinking, oh no. And then suddenly, and all of you hear this as well in the city, a giant lightning crack echoes out over the city. Now, it is only a light rain, not dark enough clouds to really warrant thunder. But that was loud. And you see this long streak of blue lightning come down and stab into the top of Malar's throat. Sin, you look upon your people.
I kind
But
of
they look different. They look weak. You hear this, and all of a sudden one of them arcs its back. And you see it just kind of, you see the figure kind of fall down and kind of push himself back up. The once strong corded muscles now barely able to push up their own weight of the figures. And you can see that he reaches out and he picks up this rock and begins carrying it back and joins a long line of your tribe carrying rocks in slavery, chained together one by one. They seem to be responsible for building something, and all you can see that assails them is purple-robed figures with tentacle motifs. And you see peeking out from behind the face of one of them seems to just be a few barnacles. And then you see this figure, the once proud shaman of your tribe, now looking inches from death, barely capable of carrying the rocks, and in fact falters and falls down and kind of lands on her hands and knees. And as she looks up, you're right at her face.
I like, can I still see the shaman, or is this all just basically I'm there? Like, this is just all that I see?
That's all that you see, but you can see the shaman. You're face to face with her currently. She hasn't said anything to you, but you seem to think that she can see you.
I look at Tila and I go, what is going on? Why are my people, our people, in slavery? Why are they pushing rocks? We are a proud race. Why are we doing this?
I stay away.
Why?
Her back arches and the vision fades away as in a rage you scream out all of your questions, and all of a sudden another lightning crack happens on the top of Malar's throat. Sin, you stand in a ruined hut, completely blown apart. Detritus lies everywhere. Wreckage lies everywhere. You stand looking at your arms, which sizzle with a little bit of smoke. And you look up, and for a split second, you think you're looking back at yourself, but with piercing blue eyes. And then it fades.
I look around and I look at the shaman and see if like he's okay.
You do not see the shaman currently.
I kind of like inspect the area and like try and pick up some of the rummage that I can, and I keep.
Okay, so you pick up some of the wreckage, you push away some of the boards, and you're starting to panic because this keeps happening, and you're like, no, and you push away the wreckage, and all of a sudden you see the shell of this creature, completely charred and black, and you're really concerned. And then all of a sudden you see like feet and legs, like a head come out. And my, you're quite the rambunctious one, aren't you?
I'm so sorry. Lately I've just gotten angrier and angrier, and this just keeps happening. I'm so sorry about your house. I will help rebuild it.
It is no trouble. Life is a maze, one where you must continually walk and trust that you will find the finish.
Do you know potentially what I saw? Did you see what I see? Like, could you see what I saw?
had no idea what you saw. All of a sudden, I saw the hairs on you standing up like a cat angered at a dog. And then the lightning struck, and you're lucky I still hold some of my good reflexes.
Well, I am seriously indebted to you. I've broken your house. I came in, and I will do anything that I can to help in helping you rebuild this.
It is fine. Just keep these words in your heart. Although a storm is powerful, it still breaks along a shoreline.
Sin looks down. He says, I will keep those words dear to my heart. If you ever need anything, I will be at a call.
Just the next time you feel like getting pissed off, just make sure you're a distance away from my new home.
I will make sure of that. Thank you. And I start to head back my way back.
As you kind of awkwardly head back down from Malar's throat, you see this turtle figure begin picking it up and seems to be talking to something completely not there, but it's just like, my, young ones these days, always so eager to reach the ocean.
As Sin keeps walking down the town, he thinks of Telia and how he can continue this story, but somehow get back to his island that now he feels he must go back to sooner.
Okay. So you head back down. The party all regathers after you've all done everything. Morthos, you meet them on the Brazen Pegasus, and you guys see for the first time Morthos is showing a little bit of happiness again. He seems to be quite at home, pulling lines and heaving the sails up and down. And when you guys board the ship, Captain Swift and Dark, this very stone-colored gnome, calls out, "Bring up the anchor. Let's go. Let's get the hell out of here. I want to get back." And Morthos throws himself on the anchor, and you see that he's absolutely loving being on this boat, which is quite strange for you guys to see. And very quickly, you begin sailing on the water. The rigging kind of creaks and moans as the sails begin to take the wind. You can hear the sails kind of luffing and the waves hitting the bow of your ship. And you travel for a good number of hours, and it's strange because while you know that you're not headed home, there's small parts of you that all think, we could just keep going. We could just go home right now. But you all kind of steel yourselves, and you all kind of turn your heads away from that point of the journey and look forward. As you do so, you begin to see the sea ahead of you roil and churn. Waves begin to crash over the bow of your ship. And all of a sudden, this gigantic splash. The ship, you almost fear like it's going to capsize right then and there. Water streams off of rising crags coming out of the water. The water pours like rivers crashing down a mountainside. At last, the emerging island stops growing in size, although the sea around you still tosses your ship like a drifting feather. Then a huge blast of steam erupts from the waves, and through the drifting rainbow-crossed mist, you see an immense beak and a milky eye the size of a hogshead cask staring blindly in your direction. As the water calms, you also spot a dozen or more shark fins circling the ship. And this immense thing begins to also circle the ship. And before saying anything, circles the ship enough so as to create an eddy that the ship actually now turns with this figure. So you are always staring at its head. And then it speaks in this low, rumbling voice. Do any of you speak Draconic?
I can, however, comprehend languages.
Okay.
Cast that.
So you cast Comprehend Languages, and it repeats itself. Give me an offer.
Offering, guys. This is the part where we have to hand over offerings.
I hand you the onyx that I have.
I hand you the 4 gems.
With my old leather armor, the deck of 3 Dragon Annie, and my onyx, and the remaining 2 gold that I have.
Okay.
I still have the funds that Mr. T gave me when we bought first our supplies. So I have enough gold to give 10 gold per person, basically. So I'm going to have this pouch with 60 gold pieces in there, and I'll throw them in the
Okay.
water, in his mouth,
Are you guys
whatever.
just throwing them in the water? What are you doing?
I think we're
Um,
collecting it all right now, right?
Yeah. Ask him where he wants it, I guess.
I can comprehend languages, not speak them.
Ah,
Yeah.
I see.
Maybe he can comprehend languages.
yeah.
Oh, great dragon turtle! Where do we throw our offerings?
You just get a blast of kind of steam coming at you. Now, it's not hot enough to burn, although you kind of think that it could. So it's just kind of showering you.
Hold
In
out your
response.
arms.
Being of an the villager of an island, do I possibly know of this turtle or dragon turtle?
Not this one in particular, because you know that as with dragons, most don't get along very well, and most don't intrude on other territories of others. You know that they are still very much like most dragons. They require payment. What else are you trying to know?
Heard stories of how to give offerings to these things.
Most water creatures would just accept things thrown in the water, really.
Then looks at Morthos and says, maybe try throwing them in the water. Maybe that'll help. Maybe that'll do something.
Okay, let's give that a shot.
Okay, so you throw it all in the water, and it all kind of
I'm going
this kind
to
of
make this
splash.
really slow purr of dwarven gold coins, and I say, "O guardian of the bay, this is our offering, the blood of the earth, mined by the dwarves of Citadel Atba, and let it rain."
More guys.
We don't really have more.
I'll pull out my blue leaf glaive, look at it one last time, and look at the dragon turtle's eye, and throw it in the water.
I throw the component pouch that was given to me by Kashan.
Okay.
And grabs his bongos.
Ven grabs her mother's dragon chess set.
Okay.
She cries and throws it overboard.
Sen
And
looks,
it's a noble dragon chess set, so it's probably like solid gold.
Sen looks at you guys and says, you'll probably be happy about this. And I throw them.
That's not true.
Not happy.
It's not that it's not true, it's just that it's not 100% false.
Exactly.
Selenia's gonna sheath her sword and she's gonna toss it in the water.
Okay.
Does it look happy now?
The dragon, without saying another word, spirals around the ship, blows steam on you, and then just the displacement of this creature so immense, sinking into the deep ocean water that is the Bay of Chult, displaces the water, and the boat goes rocking, and you've got to kind of hold on and grab onto something to make sure that you're still good. And you watch as the dragon turtle did not necessarily take your items with it, but you watch as slowly each of those items, the items most precious to you, begin to sink out of sight.
Mage hand. I'm grabbing that chess set.
Okay. The mage hand scoops up the chess set, It scoops up the board and a couple of the pieces.
No, it's a set. It's like in a box.
Okay. So picks up the chess set.
You guys saw nothing? She puts it in her backpack.
Do you think that's wise?
I have
Nope.
a really
That
bad
is
feeling
not
about
wise.
this.
No.
You might be condemning us all, then, for a chessboard.
He's not here. We can go now.
He's
Sin
still
says,
here.
"Why
It's
do
the
you have to be
ocean.
so selfish?"
I'm gonna say I told you so right now, so I don't have to say it later.
If you guys want me to throw it back over, I'll throw it back over.
I'd rather not take the chances. I want to go home.
I feel like if Sin gave up his bongos, you should give
Fine.
up the chest.
She throws it over. She's not as upset this time.
Sin thanks you.
I got your back.
All right. And you begin pushing out and away from Chult. And the captain turns to you and says, "It's a good day for speeding through the waves. We've got a good wind. Should be able to get there fairly quickly. Now, I'll leave it up to you. What would you rather, stick to the coast or go out into the deep blue?"
You know that we need to go to Shilku Bay as fast as possible. What is
Yes.
your what do you recommend?
Well, as fast as possible would be sticking to the coast, but it's twice as dangerous.
There are pirates roaming the waters. We heard rumors about them in the city.
Yeah, I've heard the same rumors, but I've never seen one myself. Mind you, this old girl's too fast to even get caught by any of them. She kind of pats the kind of wooden railing, and you can tell that she's very, very fond of her ship.
Well, there is quite a hefty reward for some of these ships, so perhaps we could not run as fast as you think that we should, perhaps.
I give you a very stern look. No hunting pirates. We have bigger fish to fry, if I might
No, yeah,
remind you.
I know. But if they're hunting us,
Or if we run into them.
yes.
Yes, but no deliberately baiting pirates by going slow.
No. But not running away when we shouldn't have to.
We are not running. We are on a mission.
You're confusing what I'm saying. It's okay.
Well, I remember last time standing at a riverside having almost the same discussion, so let's not go after pirates. It's just what I'm saying.
I'm not going after pirates. I'm saying if they're going after us.
We
then
literally
need to
had
run.
the same discussion about the T-Rex. Not going after him, but if he comes to us,
And
look
we
what
killed
happened.
it.
No,
We killed it.
he killed 2 of us.
Yes.
But they're alive now.
For now. Sorry, guys.
Yes.
Sorry.
But Mortis, while looking better today, is slowly dying from the death curse, so every minute counts. And I feel like we had the same discussion yesterday. Every moment in this world, someone or something dies, and the soul of that person is destroyed, utterly consumed by the Atropole. And I can't stand for that. I don't care about pirates, I don't care about dragon turtles, or any undead. I just want to get to Omu as fast as possible while keeping us alive and put an end to this. This is the thing that causes the highest problems and damage to the natural order. And that is something that seems to be very, very important to you. So I hope that you understand that I don't want to hear talk about pirates. I just want to help rid the world of this curse. Save the souls
As part of
those
that
who are
conversation
dying.
earlier, we also said not to rush in when you shouldn't. If you think that we're all ready to go walking and running into Omu, then
Well,
Then I'll
it's
follow
not as
you.
if it's not as if Omu is right next to us, right? we have to go at least 3 or 4 days by boat, and that is that's very generously calculated. Then we have to trek from the coast into the jungle, and I suspect that we are not going to find big waymarkers pointing us in the right direction. And it's a lost city, so I imagine that it's going to be overgrown, as everything was so far. So we will have to first find it. So I suspect that it will take us at least 3 weeks, and every day our friend is one step further towards the grave. So yes, I say we're not running right into the temple, but we have to make haste in order for him to even be amongst us when we step there, right?
Correct.
The captain just kind of quietly steers the ship while we travel. And the first day's travel passes quite uneventfully. It's quite nice, actually. The salt spray in your face and the kind of nice clip that you seem to be going at full sail. The ship seems to be pushing right along, and everything seems to be going quite well. The sunlight begins to dim and goes down, and you're all kind of like, oh, this is great. We can continue traveling. We can go to bed. There's this whole other crew, because there are other people on board the ship other than just the captain, of course. The first mate is introduced to you, and Morthos, you can actually see that he's a Luskan. And he comes up and he introduces himself and he says, "Hi, name's Grig Ruddle. Nice to meet you."
I recognize that accent anywhere. You hail from Luskan.
Well, yeah, I was born and raised there, but yeah, not from the old Luskan.
Yeah, that's where I'm from too.
Really? Tell me, what's the name of the biggest island from Luskan?
Okay, OOC. I don't know. I know Morthos does.
Morthos would know it to be Fang Island.
Okay, thanks. Fang Island. Let me ask you this. Best tavern in Luskan?
That's no contest. It's the Crooked Galleon, mate.
You kidding? Nancy's. Where else?
Nancy's has got nothing on the Crooked Galleon. The Crooked Galleon sells you the best grog you could possibly get all up and down the Sword Coast.
Well, at least at Nancy's, the wenches are the best in town. So how dare you speak down on Nancy's?
I wouldn't know. I never had to pay for it.
As the word wenches is said, Ben's gonna be like, what in the world?
You guys seem to see that Morthos and the first mate are hitting it off. You do take note that a couple of the crew as well kind of roll their eyes and walk away as quickly as fucking possible, because apparently they've seen this once or twice before. They don't need to deal with it again. But they set about. So there is Captain Ortome Swift and Dark. There is the first mate, Grig Ruddle. And then there are 6 other just run-of-the-mill pirates. Most seem to be Chultan. One seems to be very dark-colored, but not Chultan in any way. And another 2 just seem to be either Tetherian or Omnish or from Baldur's Gate, up and down the Sword Coast kind of figure. But mostly not a Chultan crew. And the first night will pass. You guys get the benefits of a long rest. However, waking up the next day, Morthos, your hit point maximum goes down by 1 as the death curse continues to lash out. at you.
This is speeding up, man.
No, it isn't. Once a day.
Oh, Jesus.
Just
gonna
be
make
happy
it
it's
2
not
months.
once a minute.
I'm not creating stress here. The danger is real when the grave cleric is being grave. The next morning, when I recover my spell slots, I'm going to visit Ven. Are we having quarters, or is it just hammocks under?
Now the Brazen Pegasus, it's small, built for speed. You are informed that its top speed under ideal conditions, which you have been getting for the last 2 days, is
Okay.
10 miles an hour. So it's a rather fast ship. Because of this, it doesn't really have any quarters per se. Most of the sleeping arrangements is done under tents or tarps that are slung along the back or aft of the ship. That kind of offers a covering or an awning that people sleep in and under. The interior of the ship is mostly used for storage and the captain's quarters.
Okay. So I will
So
just.
you all sleep on the deck with the crew, basically.
And I will just go over to Ven after I finished my morning prayers and say, "Good morning. I would be willing to try again if you have another message for me to convey."
Yeah, maybe we should try to convince him not to kill you.
I am. I'm in favor of this plan. I say with a laugh.
Well, it's worth a shot.
So what do you wish me to tell him?
And she pulls out a little scrap of paper, probably the same one that she handed you before, and just flipped it over and wrote on the other side and passes it to you. She said, I've been working on this for a couple of days, hoping you would, wish to do this again.
Very well. I'm going to pick up the note and hold my holy symbol and will pray and recast the spell Sending, concentrating once more on the Lord of Darkhold, Dawn Claremont. And I'm going to say, Father, I am speaking to you through a comrade. Endeavor not to threaten her. 1 year today. Rosalind needs to go. Family and honor. Leven.
He will understand the significance of the 1 year today remark.
So
Very
you
good.
kind of sit and
Wait.
kind of wait. Good. That is fine. Apologies to your friend. You are needed home now. The army marches.
Anything? Was it?
That's it.
Your father just said that it's fine, and apologies to me, and that you are needed home right now because the army marches.
The
Does that mean
army
anything to you?
marches. Oh, that isn't good.
What does it mean? If you
Uh,
don't mind me asking.
It most likely means exactly that. As I said, my father is a military man. He has a giant army behind him.
Yeah.
If he's marching on someone, that's not good.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Does Sin over here that Tahina can actually reach out to others? Because via message?
Even if you don't hear it, I'm going to tell the rest of the party after successfully trying that. So I might even have told you yesterday, but I don't want to retcon it. So I'm going to tell you later when we have breakfast.
Okay.
But I have one because yesterday it wouldn't have made sense, right? I didn't have any spell slots, and it would have been like, I can send messages, but not anymore today. So there's that.
Yeah.
That would have been kind of a dick move, right?
All right. So after you send the first message with Ven, you all kind of join up, and you have a sailor's breakfast, which Morthos you tuck into heartily. Everybody else you kind of poke at it, and it's this strange mass of things. It's a little bit hard to tell what's going on inside this porridge, but it's like porridge that's been given dried fruit and a bunch of other things, but you're not really sure what it is. And while everybody else is poking at it, Morthos is just kind of shoveling it in his mouth, and he's got this big long drip down one side, and he kind of looks at you all at one point, and it's just like, what?
I will press it to take it away. Like,
there you go. As the sun kind of breaks over the mountains that have been blocking it from view, you now get your first look at the Mist Cliff, which is on your player maps. It sits right at the edge, the coastline of the Mist Cliff Mountains. And this Mist Cliff is absolutely massive. You can see that it is at least probably 2,000 feet high from the ocean floor and goes up just to a jagged, sharp edge that completely cuts into the water. You can see that all manner of seabirds and life does flourish on this cliff face. And you can also note that it has a very apt name because mist shrouds the top of it. And you think that in part that is just a mist, but in other parts you think that it also has to do with the fact that there are quite a few small little waterfalls that pour off of the side of this cliff and throwing up the water vapor, mixing with the mist of the jungle that then mixes with the ocean currents and the temperatures off of the ocean. You get the sense that, for the most part, these cliffs are indeed covered in mist for most of the day. And it's just something you notice. Nothing in particular catches your eye. Runa, I would imagine this is the point where you kind of take the opportunity to be like, oh yeah, by the way.
Yeah. As soon as I finished my porridge, I say, I have been granted new powers by the grace of Holy Kalimvor, and due to an inspiration that Ven gave me, I found out that I can send albeit short messages over very long distances. And we tried successfully this morning to send a message to Ven's father, who's very far away, and it worked. So I have one more message that I can send today. If anyone wants or has something important to impart to beloved family member or friend, I don't know, a head of order, I look at Sedenia or something like that, I would be very happy to give your messages to people that are important to you. I can do it every day, but only twice every day. So this morning I already tried it, so I have only one left. But if everyone of you wants to send a message, we have a few days on board the ship. We can do that, if that's something that you would be interested in.
Yeah, that is something that I would definitely be interested in.
Agreed.
I would also.
Would like to send a message. The best thing is if you think about what you want to send, because you can only send 25 words.
Does it have to be exactly 25, or can it be less than 25?
It can be less. If you can put your message in less than 25 words, of course. And you might want to put something up in front because it is my voice that the recipient will hear. So it needs to be very clear, and maybe something like, I sent this to a friend or something like that, because we had to give it 2 tries because it was very confusing for Ven's father, who didn't recognize my voice, of course, because he doesn't know me, to receive this message out of thin air spoken from a strange voice. So maybe something to begin with that would give comfort to whoever receives it, that this is indeed a message from you and was sent in your name.
Thank you, Runa.
Oh, you're welcome.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
They'll come in handy very soon, probably.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. And I could reach my mother through this, so that was a comfort to hear that she's still alive, because I saw that she was in very rough conditions when we were in the Temple of the Naga. So I'm glad to hear that she's holding out. Would this be a good moment for a break? Because I see everyone is looking down.
Yeah, sorry. I
Composers.
personally was
Already
looking at my note, like
I've written
counting
mine out already.
letters.
Yeah, you know what? Sure, why not? This will be a great opportunity to take a break here. So we'll do a little bit of a longer break so that everybody can do reading and thinking and
Go
everything
to the
else.
bathroom.
Go to the bathroom and maybe get something to eat. So for all you wonderful viewers out there, we'll be back in probably 10, 15 minutes. So bear with us. Please come back. It's about to get interesting, folks. So we'll see you soon. Bye for now.
See you.
Hey, everyone. Back. Glad to see that most of you didn't go anywhere. Good to see that you're still with us as we rejoin the nameless party of adventurers on board the Brazen Pegasus as they pass along the Mist Cliff Mountains and the Mist Cliff itself, passing through most of the day now and into the evening and into night.
Could I stop Runa on the same day that she told us she could send the message?
Yes.
On a time that that we're kind of alone.
Okay. So I would find it probably around evening or late evening, watching the sunset. You see your opportunity, Runa. Maybe you're standing at the right at the prow of the ship, kind of looking out, admiring the sunset, and Glendon, you kind of see your opportunity.
Is everyone else sitting there jotting down notes, counting words, thinking about what they're going to send?
Everybody has been kind of with this newfound. At least I would say. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I would assume that most of you, with this newfound knowledge that Runa can potentially contact people for you, it's left you with a lot of thoughts, a lot of who and why and what would I say, and 25 words. God, that's not a lot, and you're kind of left in your thoughts today. But Glendon, you approach Runa.
From behind you, softly, I just say, it is beautiful, isn't it?
It is. I've never been to. I've never been on a ship this big, or we have been traveling here by magical means. So this is a very nice change of pace. It's not as humid as the jungle, and there are no insects here, which is also a great plus.
The breeze is refreshing, of
Yes.
course. I took your information that you gave us, that you could use this ability to contact other people, and it kind of sent me to home, and a darker place took me, I guess. I don't have anyone here that I could describe to you. I do have someone, perhaps, if he's still alive, that you may be able to send this message to if you haven't done anyone else today. I've sort of been on my own trying to figure out what the hell to say.
Yeah.
If you still have one and you are willing, I wouldn't mind
You're the
reporting
first
in.
you're the first to approach me. And as soon as tomorrow morning, I will have regained my ability to send 2 more messages. So, first come, first served.
Well, I appreciate it, and if it doesn't work out, the fact that you are willing to do this for us speaks volumes to me, and I won't forget it.
It's my pleasure. I know what it feels like to know that there is someone out there that is so far away that even if you would send a letter, it might be too late to reach them. So this was a very pleasant revelation to me as well, and I wish to share that with my companions, of course. What would
Well,
you?
I would
who do you
like
want me to contact?
the thing that I also wanted to perhaps preface you with the information I'm about to give you is that it's, although not secret to us, it would be to my sort of who I'm reporting to within the Emerald Enclave. So not that it's private and privileged because you know these things, but there are perhaps some things that might shock you in the information that I'm sending. And I hope that I can trust your... No, that seems a little... Could you promise me that this information I'm giving you just stays between you and I?
Of course, I touch my holy symbol. I can give you my solemn promise that I won't reveal what your private message.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a while since I've talked to my uncle,
Your
but
uncle.
we call him Scars, sorry.
Yes.
He was taken as a young child, elf, and tortured, and left him scarred. The way he looks, I guess, would be what you needed.
I need to get a feel for that person, so if you can describe him a little bit in more detail, what he's like. I found Ven described her father, the way he looked, what his name is, and also his behavior amongst the family, and again to other people that are not part of the family. So that helped me to get a feeling for that, for her father. And I would like you to do the same. Paint me a picture with your words so I can see him in my mind's eye.
Well, I guess his name is Uncle Grilfilin Goldrath. He, yes, was taken as a young child and left him scarred. He was saved by my other uncles and aunties and my father.
Mhm.
His ears have been clipped. He has a scar over his left eye that goes down his entire face. He has scar marks all over his back and his chest, his arms and legs. The thing that he found... Sorry.
Is his left eye missing because of that scar?
No. He was able to get it back, I guess. They don't really talk much about it, but what I have known of the man, he is my teacher. He taught me how to use arcane magic and channel it into my arrows. He's a harsh man. He's a quiet man. He takes very little to say to understand what he needs from you. Man of very few words. He's always ready to risk his life to save someone of the tribe. He saved my life during our training. A feral sort of animal charged me, and he saved my life and almost died in the process. Maybe I've thought on occasion that he is looking for death, and he keeps escaping it, but that is his sort of story. Is there anything else that you might need?
I think that is a very good description.
To spill out all of his family's, my uncle's story at you. But...
I appreciate your openness about it. And maybe one day you will tell me a little bit more about yourself.
Perhaps if there's time after this incident, I wouldn't mind sitting down.
Mhm. So, what is it that you want me to tell your uncle? And OOC, maybe you can put it in the chat and I can read it out loud.
Yeah, I could, yeah. I was gonna message the... So just give me a sec as I do that, I guess.
Perfect.
Meanwhile, I want to
Sure.
be checking the ship for my sister. I'll make sure she's not on the ship anywhere.
Okay.
So I probably look crazy, just kind of like,
Roll an
Checking
investigation
everywhere.
check for me, please, Ven.
oh noes. Okay. 15?
15. Okay, you're moving about and you kind of push through everything and you're walking around and at first you do a cursory glance and then you kind of get really a little bit more into it and a little bit more looking. And then you kind of notice something out of the corner of your eye. And it's something that you spot very easily because it has been ingrained in your skull. Not literally, figuratively. But it's your family's crest on a wineskin.
On a wineskin.
Yep.
Okay. Is there anyone else around? Could anyone
No.
see me really? Okay.
You're down in the storage and generally
Okay.
they don't go down there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and pick it up,
Okay.
I
You can
guess.
feel that it's full. Excuse me.
Okay. It's got a stopper or something, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna pull the stopper out.
Immediately you can smell what smells to be aged blood inside a wineskin. And if your nose is telling you correct, which...
Sorry, Tolley. I hate to interrupt, but she just blue screened of death.
Oh no! Oh no! Sad days. Okay, well, while we pause that conversation, we'll move back to Runa and Galinden. Hopefully
bloodlust.
Shelby
She's
comes
trying to
back
rein
with...
it in.
Hopefully Shelby comes back to us very soon.
Fingers crossed.
But go ahead, Runa.
Okay. So, Galen hands me the note, I guess, that you prepared over the day.
Yes.
And I read it. And nod. And then I start to pray, holding my holy symbol, and try to envision his uncle again, as he described him to me, with his very distinct features.
Okay, so
and personality
Galinden,
traits.
I need you to roll a performance check. And Runa, I need you to roll. Bear with us, viewers. Our cameras might have just gone a little bit wonky, but we are still here. So you might just have to listen to us while everything goes a little wonky while we hope that Shelby comes back soon. So, Galinden, your performance check.
The natural 20.
Wow.
Okay, a natural 20. That is our first one of the game, actually, I think, which is kind of crazy for us because usually we have quite a few, but that'll be 10 XP for all the viewers, which I will do shortly.
Your uncle has very distinct features.
Yes, it does. Now I need Runa. I need you to make the spellcasting check.
Another whoop whoop.
Oh, and
Your uncle is
20.
very, very distinct.
Yes!
an elf with clipped ears and a scar over the face. So yeah.
Okay, and that is 20 XP to the viewers. Should be done now. Wow, that's okay. All right. I see who I'm dealing with now. Okay.
It's like you talked it Ford, right? He said, "Oh, we didn't have much 20s this time around," and bam. Okay, so I'm going to send a message then.
Okay. So you send the message as Galinden plays along with the flute. And very quickly...
Shouldn't I read it out loud? So the viewers know what the message is? Or
Sure.
should we keep it secret?
Sure, you can read it out loud.
Okay.
That's why I'm playing the flute.
So no one can hear it.
Okay.
If you want, I can keep it silent.
No, go ahead, read it for the viewers, so the viewers know.
Yeah,
Viewers.
yeah, of course.
Okay. And I pray and say, Galinden reports from Child. Information on Soulmonger. Watch Simber. Stop Azurak. Vampire is hunted. Send Enclave. Restore balance. Abroad Brazen Pegasus. Omu bound.
And all you get back, but you get it back very quickly. It's like ringing someone and they pick up on the half ring. You get a response very quickly back that is just one word. Understood.
And I open my eyes and look at and playing and wait till he finishes his song. And as he does, I say, "Man of few words in your family."
Yes.
Your uncle just said, "Understood."
Yes. Perfect. Thank you. Good old uncle. Runa, thank you yet again. It is good to hear that he actually is alive, though.
Oh yes. If what you said is true, he has not been successful in his search for the other side. And we should all be glad for that, because if he would end up where I stood only a few days ago. And that would be a harsh destiny for someone who had such a harsh life. The afterlife should be something more welcoming and soothing.
Something unnatural is definitely happening, and
Oh,
we're
yes.
going to put a stop to it.
That we will.
And I am in your debt, so if there is anything that you need, let me know.
If you stand by my side as we go to Omu and put an end to this, that is all that I require.
It is done. It will happen.
And I reach
Then-
out my hand.
Okay.
For a warrior.
Yeah, Beastmaster handshake, and then I'll just head back and see if I can help, I don't know, with the ship at all.
Okay. In the meantime, below in the hold, then you awaken after passing out from the smell that came from this skin. It still holds in your hand, you can feel it, but you having fallen over, some of it, the liquid, had spilled out, and now slowly kind of crawls towards you, this dark crimson liquid that you can smell immediately, that familiar, almost metallic smell that comes with blood. And you even know that, oh, that's child's blood. That's the finest. That's the delicacy.
Is there any chance I can push past the deliciousness of that smell and tell how old it is? Not the child, the blood, how long it's been out of its body.
Okay. Roll a constitution check. Actually, roll a medicine check at advantage for me.
Okay. Tony, shut up. I can hear you yelling from here. Okay, well, advantage didn't really help. So that was the medicine check. That's a 10.
Okay. Hard to tell. Definitely not fresh. Definitely probably within a week. And anything more than that would have required a better roll. But
So she mostly did that to know if like it had been like recently put on or if it was put there before they got on the ship to see if her sister's on the boat. Or near the boat or following the boat or something.
she was definitely here at some point in the last week would be your best guess.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna move away from the blood that's crawling towards me, I guess. Or try to.
As you kind of push yourself up onto your hands and knees and kind of slowly kind of crawl your way back, you actually inadvertently dip your left hand into some of the blood and you kind of push back, kind of almost in a panic, and because of your panic and because of your rush, you weren't careful enough and you slipped and you got some on you.
Oh, no. And she's looking at her hand saying, no, and she's like trying to hold it away from her face and like turn away.
You feel your teeth elongate.
No. She's gonna think about all the she's gonna think about her past and try to think about what will happen if she does this thing.
Okay, roll a Constitution saving throw for me, please.
$18.
18. You clench your fist. You feel the blood ooze between your fingers. It's slick. You just kind of close your eyes. And you just kind of... No. And you just kind of breathe it out, and you just kind of think about things, and you... Okay. I'm okay. And you feel like you maybe need some fresh air.
Is there any like water or anything down here in the store? Should they have like a barrel?
There are a few water barrels, that hold fresh water.
Oh, alchemy jug. I have the alchemy jug, probably, because I've been carrying it around.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say wine. I'm gonna pour wine on top of the blood and grab the wineskin and run upstairs.
Okay, the wineskin is still about half full at this point.
Okay, I'm kind of like trying to discreetly hold it down and away from me so it's not close to my nose or my face.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna like run to the edge of the boat and throw it over.
Okay. So I need the rest of the party now to roll perception checks, please.
She's not trying to hide it, she just wants it gone.
Yeah.
Oh, I rolled a 19, so that's a 27.
Brutus, he's all.
Everything.
Okay, Morthos,
16.
Sin,
19.
Selenia,
9.
and Galinden.
9.
Okay, both Galinden and Selenia, you guys are too busy hard at work helping on the ship. Selenia, you've actually kind of enjoyed the hard labor lately. You've kind of taken most of your armor and weapons off, and you're kind of just, kind of unhindered. You're by no means scandalous, but you're helping with the ropes. You're up on the rigging. You're learning how to kind of climb along the mast using your feet along the ropes, and you don't have your boots on. And Galinden's kind of helping you and kind of like, take it easy, because Galinden, you're used to being up in these sails. This feels just like a tree to you, and you're quite good at it, and you're helping the crew along. Sin, Morthos, and Runa, you guys are kind of sitting together off in a corner, kind of watching your friends work, and kind of relaxing as you see Ven just come running up and just throws this wineskin over the side. You see some red liquid kind of sloshes out of it. Morthos and Sin, you guys just assume that it's kind of bad wine, and you know, you're kind of like, oh, here we go. Prissy Princess is going to be all pissed off because they got shit wine. But in the meantime, Runa, you see that definitely wasn't wine in that bottle.
Okay. I stand up casually and say, if you excuse me, and walk over to Ven very slowly as if nothing is amiss.
I would like to cut my hand. I have a dagger. I would like to cut my hand, the one that's covered in blood. I would like to like discreetly like put my hand behind my back, scrape it across the blade, and make it look like that my hand's bleeding. Because I haven't wiped the blood off yet.
Okay, make a sleight of hand check, please.
Could it be deception?
Sure.
Yes. Oh, doesn't matter. 11.
Runa, what's your passive perception?
More than that.
My passive perception is 23 because I'm observant.
Overpowered.
So, Runa, you see Ven very slyly kind of pull a blade from her side, and both hands go behind her back, and then very quickly comes back. And you see for just a split second a degree of kind of unnatural speed that happens there. But then as you approach, you also with your passive perception can very clearly see that her left hand is bleeding and has been bleeding for a while because it's got quite a bit of blood on it.
Okay. And I heard nothing from under deck, right?
Nope, you heard absolutely nothing from under deck.
Okay. As I said, I will go over quite casually, not as if I'm alarmed or anything. And look at Ven and say, my dear, would you like me to take a look at your hand and heal it? I can see that you are hurt.
It's just a flesh wound. I just need to wash it. It'll be okay. And she's not looking at you. She's trying to like look away and look for somewhere to wash her hands.
I will gently take your hand.
She's trying to keep it away from you.
Press it to take the blood away. I have a firm grip. I'm not hurting you or anything, but I have your hand and I intend to.
Are you going to continue to try to break away, or
yes?
Okay.
Yeah,
then at this point, it is a grapple contest. I need Runa, you to make a strength check. Then either strength athletics or dexterity acrobatics. Runa, it's a strength athletics check.
I'm bad at both.
Okay. And I'm trying not to hurt her on anything, and I will say, it's okay, dear. Let me take a look. I will heal it.
I got a 19.
16. Yeah.
Okay, so Ven manages to wriggle out kind of very quickly, and kind of the blood is left a little bit on your hand, and she just runs away, I assume.
Yeah, I just like, don't touch me, and I like go and sit by myself and like, I don't know, find like a water skin or something and like try and wash my hands. Okay,
yeah, you do so. You kind of wash your hands off, but looking at your pale skin now, you can see that blood has somewhat stained your hand without kind of scouring your hand. You can just detect the faintest little red.
I'm gonna keep scrubbing it for a while. It won't make any difference, but I'm just gonna keep scrubbing it.
Runa, are you watching Ven do this?
I'm standing there for a moment watching her bewildered. Then I walk very slowly over as I would approach a nervous horse or something, and hold my hand up and prestidigitate it clean. And I say, I have a spell that could help with that. I have to say, it's easier to take care of you when you're unconscious. Normally, don't try to run away from me when I try to heal you.
when she prestidigitates it away, does it make like the redness go away? Not to Ven. She still sees red on her hands.
Okay.
So she's gonna continuously just rub it and just kind of thank you and just keep rubbing it.
Oh, I was cleaning my hand. I'm keeping
Oh, okay.
2
I
foot
thought you were-
distance and show you my hand. So I could help you.
No, thank you. It's okay. I'll be fine.
I'm going to cast a spell on you. And I'm going to
Nope.
cast Calm Emotion. Because I think that something spooked you and you act weird.
Now,
So-
to cancel that spell, I would have to have counterspell, right? I can't use my dispel magic on that.
No, not in this instance.
Okay.
Especially because you are the target of this spell. I need you to make a charisma saving throw against Runa's
hey.
spell save DC.
I'm good at those.
Everyone in
18.
20 foot
Yeah.
is being calmed down. If someone else is around. It's a
You rolled
20 foot radius.
An 18?
Oh wow, okay, my spell save DC is only 16.
Okay, unfortunately, your effect does not take effect on Ven. However, because I am
Everyone's
assuming
No.
I'm assuming you have suppressed emotions, and yeah, you watch as probably about 3 of the sailors and Morthos and Sin just immediately just kind of, oh man, like all of a sudden you guys are just relaxed. The crewmates just kind of lays about and they just kind of,
I mean, it's just you can't be frightened or charmed. It just calms you down.
As the kind of initial wave washes off, you guys watch as they kind of get back up, and Morthos and Sin, you kind of feel it. And I think you felt this once before from Runa, I think.
Oh well,
but,
no, I told them that I learned it, and I might have demonstrated it, but we didn't encounter any creatures
Right.
with a frightening aura again. So
But I would,
I'm talking to her and say, "Calm down, dear. It's all right. If you keep on scrubbing, you're going to hurt yourself." Then I cast the spell. Please calm down. What has you in such a confused state?
I'll be okay. Just give me a little bit, okay? Just give me a little bit. And she's not like scratching at her hand like that. Like she's just like, you can see, like, you know when you get like a smudge on your arm? She's just like rubbing it, like go away, go away, go away.
Okay.
Runa, how intensely are you looking at Ven? It's a weird question, I know, but
I mean, I'm focused on her, and I just cast the spell to calm her down. So I think I'm pretty
okay.
focused on her.
Roll another perception check, please.
Okay. I'm good at those. Oh, that's only 6, but still 14.
Okay. She's very stressed out. Very, very stressed out. You don't see anything more that causes alarm, but you can definitely see that she is absolutely stressed out.
Okay.
About whatever it is that just happened. And I mean, you've seen her take damage, you've seen her come through combat and everything else, but
this is new.
this is new.
why
This
I'm
is
so
definitely very,
confused.
very new.
I will step away and look at her with this. Then I say to Corbin, please watch her for me, right? And he can sit on the side of the ship or something where he can see her. And then I will go below deck to take a look around if someone, I don't know, attacked her or something like that. Because this is very suspicious to me.
Okay. You go down.
When I pass Morthos and Sin, I say, I think something happened to spook Ven. I'm not sure what happened. Please don't talk to her because I think she might need some time to herself. But if you would be so kind to keep an eye out on her, not that she's going to do something, I don't know, like jump overboard or I don't know. I'm a bit confused. This is weird.
Then looks at Morthos and says it was probably just the wine. She just didn't like the wine.
I don't think that this is different. She didn't act like she was enraged that the wine was not to her taste. This is just she's scrubbing at her hand, and she has this blood stain and a little wound. So I'm going to look below deck to see if there is something. Maybe someone or something attacked her or something,
Or maybe
So-
she got hungry.
and cut herself in the hand.
I don't know. Hungry does crazy things.
Hmm.
Maybe
I feel that there
sea
might be more
madness?
to it.
Maybe sea madness, but I assume the hunger.
What is sea
I'm
madness?
hungry.
It's an old thing that happens sometimes with people who are not used to the open waters.
Hmm.
They go
I
mad.
tried-
That's all you see around in the horizons, just water,
the water.
and blue.
But
Which
we can see
shouldn't
the
be
mist
the case for
lift.
because we're right next to a coast.
Yeah. And I tried to cast calm emotions on her because she seemed so upset and it didn't took hold at all. So I will look below deck to see if there's anything down there. But if you could keep an eye out on her in case the sea madness, if that is what it is, makes her, I don't know, climb up to the crow's nest and throw herself down or something dangerous like that.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on her.
Thank you. And I go below deck.
All right.
I don't think she'll find anything.
You only know that after you look.
Roll an investigation check, Runa.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I'm very good at those. Oh, that's a 15.
Okay. You do find a strange stain over near the water skins.
Okay.
It's an odd red stain that has kind of sat into the wood and kind of begun to seep into the wood. Two varying kind of textures of liquid, two varying viscosities. You can see that one was there before and the other was kind of poured on top of it.
Does it look like blood? Like she cut herself here and then poured maybe the wine from the. Although I saw that it was not wine that she drew away, right? Over the side.
You know it wasn't wine that she threw away, and you
Hmm.
also saw the moment she cut her hand.
So this is whatever was in there. I look a bit closer. So, and I guess I know that it's by now that it is blood, right? Or
Yeah,
what
being
else could it
the
be?
cleric
That,
that you
right?
are and everything else, yeah, I mean it's
I look at the other skins around here, water and wine, and they look normal, right? Not tampered with.
taste them, test them. All of them hold what they say they hold, or appear to hold.
Okay. And I just have to stain on the floor and the filled water skins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very.
There's no body. There's no.
Part of me would like to talk to Kalindin about this because I think, hunter that he is, he might be able to make sense of it. But I also know that he's quite suspicious of Wen, and I don't want to get her into trouble. She's my friend, so. I look at the stain. Then I look left and look right. Is there someone here beside me?
No.
Right now, not. I will prestidigitate the traces of blood and wine away.
Okay.
Drowning and we're definitely going to talk about this, I say to myself, and make my way back
Okay.
top deck.
As you make your way back, you're kind of a little. It's a little jarring. It's a little shocking as all of a sudden, Galindin and Selenia land kind of right beside you. Galindin a little bit ahead of Selenia, them having a race to see who could get down onto the deck fast enough. Galindin, you beat Selenia by just a hair. Selenia, oh, you'll get him next time.
How's it
but
going,
you guys, yeah.
Oh, hi, Runa.
Hey! Congratulations to winning this race. Is that what this was?
Yeah, it's just
Barely.
a little competition.
I've been a bit closer to Slenya. Think about it. He's most likely several hundred years old, so he has quite some practice in racing.
He's a grandpa for sure.
I know how that is. Having been around dwarves, they are very long-lived as well. They are very good at the things they are good in, basically. So next time you will get him.
Dwarves certainly are an interesting folk.
Oh yes, I studied their culture for several years. They are very interesting to me.
Anything exciting going on?
Anything what?
Exciting.
Well, we had a little weird episode with Ven as I look over to see if she's still sitting there scrubbing at her hand.
She's just kind of like looking at it now. She stopped rubbing it.
Are you
I-
like crouched down, or are you just sitting?
I imagine I'm sitting on something and kind of just like hunched over, like looking at my hands.
She does seem to be a little out of it.
Oh yeah. Although it's better than it was a few minutes ago. I think something was wrong with a wineskin. And she also cut herself, or she got cut. So, yeah.
Strange.
Yeah.
She's a
Just give
strange
her-
one.
Give her a moment of time.
Do you know how like she eats normally, right? Or does she
Well,
have to?
ate the same things that I ate so far.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we all, let me think. When we were in Kaya's house of repose, we always had the same dinner, I think. And on the way, we had all the same rations.
Have you ever seen her drink blood?
Never,
I say quietly. Okay.
never.
Okay. So
And
it's-
none of us have been bitten, or if you are insinuating something like that. That's why I trust her.
right.
As I said, she's special. I don't know how much you know about the Church of Holy Kelmvor, but the clerics in his service, such as myself, do get certain powers. And one of them is that I can look to the other side. I can see if something is alive or dead, or if someone or something is undead. And in my graveside, she looks weird, as if she's sitting on a hedge with one leg in one world and one in the other. But I think that her human side, from what I've seen so far, seems to be the one at the steering wheel. And as long as that is the case,
Do you
she's
think?
my friend, and I will.
Do you think
protect her.
perhaps she doesn't drink blood and that taxes her? The one side needing it, and the other side not wanting it, and she fights this sort of. I was thinking about this for the last little while now.
Maybe.
This person that
Um.
calls herself Ven's sister seems to be quite the opposite and loves drinking this stuff.
Well, if the sister or spawn is a full-fledged vampire, I guess it could not forego the taste of blood. And Ven still seems to cling to her human side. And I think that from what I heard and saw so far, she's very. I think that she's very connected to her family, as is just right. And I can imagine that it might be very conflicting if you are someone who sits between, is with one leg in this world and with one in the other. So this is most likely very hard for her, and I don't want to upset her further. I want her to win. If she's really fighting a battle with herself, and is not drinking blood, even though she should be drinking it, if that is what you are insinuating, then I don't want to upset her in any way or form. But
Right.
I mean, I've been traveling with her for over 2 months now, and I have not witnessed her drinking blood or going hunting for sentient creatures in any way or form. And I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm very observant, and I would like to think that I would have noticed if she would have done something like that. So
Right.
I trust her.
At least for the time she's been around you.
As I said, I know her for over 2 months now, as everyone here, and she has saved my life, and I have saved hers, and I would trust her in a tussle.
Right.
So I would like to give her the benefit of the doubt, because I'm not an expert in vampire or vampire
Right.
biology or anything.
As you're talking, all of a sudden, echoing out over the kind of silence of the evening that is setting in, you hear, "Are you sure about this?" And Morthos goes, "Yeah, I've done it 100 times. It's fine." And all of a sudden, you see Sin, both hands on a rope, standing on the top of a mast. And he just kind of jumps off with the rope in his hands. And Morthos, you've tied a loop around your boot that connects to the very same rope. And all of a sudden, like a zip line, you go shooting up the mast. And Sin, you kind of come crashing down onto the wood. And Morthos, you kind of pop up onto the mast and onto the wood and kind of hold on and very like, "Ha ha! I'm a pirate!" kind of look out at the ocean. Then this does distract you for a split second, and the three of you having a very intense conversation just kind of look. And Sin, that was exhilarating. That was amazing.
I
He's going to
actually
do
got off
it
the ground.
again.
Well, glad those two are having fun.
Oh, I'm glad. It's a very dark time, especially with what's been happening to Morthos.
Oh yes.
But I feel like I should also let you guys know something that I did and found out just before we left. With the spawn being around, I found out that it was going to the docks and decided to try and track it. And what I came across was disturbing, to say the least. Bodies, blood, everything. The ship, this ship was fine, and it had nothing done to it, but there was another ship in the docks that, yes, I cannot speak for what happened to everything, but there was blood everywhere.
So
I'm not saying Ven. I trust her word, but perhaps this spawn is getting to our friend. When I came back that night, I was climbing into my room because what else? And I miss climbing. I'll just be honest.
interesting.
I missed home. I was having a nostalgic moment. And as I was getting into my room, I saw a goblet come flying out of Ven's room and smashed the wall behind me. And so I poked my head in because I thought she was being attacked. And she wasn't. She was startled, but she seemed very taken aback. Not just because I was barging into her window, but from before she seemed flustered, and I sort of brought her out of that by
It's
appearing
very
at the window.
unseemly, I say with crossed arms.
Yeah, it was nothing like weird. I thought she was being attacked because a goblet had flown out the window and smashed. So she was fine. She ended up being okay, kind of. She seemed a little out of it, though.
Could you see what was in the goblet?
It looked like wine had hit the wall. It was dark, so
A dark liquid?
it was like a dark, thicker liquid, I think I remember seeing, and it was dark out, so I couldn't place the vintage.
I look over at Ven, trying to gauge her state of mind.
After seeing the two buffoons launch themselves into the air and crash down and all that, she looks a little better. She's not just like out of it anymore. She's just kind of like looking out over at the cliffs.
Which, by the way, now they are trying to one-up each other by like seeing who can have the most wonderful flourish, like landing on top, and see who can hold the pose without, letting go of the roll. And it's this absolutely comical thing of just these two idiots bouncing up and down on a rope and going.
Oh yeah, Morthos, what's this?
It's like on a set for an Errol Flynn or Pirates of the Caribbean movie when the stunt dude.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Perhaps she's fighting something within.
Yeah.
That if she needs help, she'll ask for it. If not, as long as she doesn't hurt anybody, as long as her sister or this spawn doesn't hurt anyone or isn't found out to be hurting anyone, then I guess we just let her deal.
I think you're right, but I also think that sometimes we need to be reminded that someone has our back. And I will walk back over to Ven.
Okay, as you walk back over to Ven, a couple of the crewmates now who have gotten out the drink as their shift is now over, their shift having ended at the same time as Galinden and Selenia come down, they raise their glasses and they all let out this cheer, and it's a strange cheer you've never heard of. It's Exilium, and the party will raise their glasses to our lovely friend Exilium and cheers.
Exilium!
Mm-hmm. It's like Stan Lee's Excelsior, except Exilium. All right. And you approach Ven again.
Mm-hmm. I will not sit right next to her, but I just go. I'm not sitting down, but I'm just basically doing a squat or something. So I'm eye level with her, and I say, "You are from a noble house, my friend, and I think that must be sometimes lonely because you have to uphold certain standards and etiquettes and stuff like that. But I just want you to know that I'm your friend and I'm there for you. And if something is, or someone is haunting you, I'm there to help if you need me. But I will not cry.
Ven's
start to get back up.
She's gonna turn to look at you before you go, and it's kind of one of those like slow head turns because she was looking out at the cliffs, and so she's just gonna like slowly and turn and look at you with kind of like just a dead stare, not really any emotion. She's gonna say, "Thank you, Runa. I appreciate you, but these are my ghosts to bear."
I guess I understand. If you ever decide that you would like a grave cleric to help you hunt your ghost, I'm here.
And she kind of gives a little smile and she says, "I suppose you would be the one to ask."
And then I will leave. If I have the impression that you would like to be alone and think, then I will leave.
Yeah, she just wants to contemplate a little bit more.
And I will go back and join the merriment.
Okay.
Before heading into the merriment, as I'm heading towards it, I guess the group that has the grog, or the ale or whatever it is, I just kind of showed over to Ven. Hey Ven, we're gonna open out the wine. I think more than welcome.
What kind of wine?
It's probably not what you want, but it's booze.
Maybe.
I'll head back towards the booze.
Okay. So whoever wishes to partake can partake, and in a night of mostly smiles and grins and tales of the sea, party manages to find rest yet again as you move from the northern side of the island of Chult to the western side of the peninsula. Not an island, peninsula. Very distinct difference. The next day you all awaken, Morthos. Yet again, another hit point off of your hit point maximum disappears. And you find yourselves now at a very beautiful scene as the sun kind of comes over the mountains. You are at the point now where the regular shining sea that stretches from the northern side of Chult all the way up to the Sword Coast now turns into beautiful turquoise and aquamarine and crystal clear waters. You can see that you are now getting into the very kind of hot, kind of Caribbean type waters that are just absolutely beautiful. And about midway through the day, you can actually see that you are cutting across a bay. And for your first time, you catch another mountain range. And I believe it is marked on your player maps. Yes, it is. This, you guess, is the Cobalt Mountains. And you guess that because you can see great plumes of smoke rising from some of the highest peaks. And this is kind of your first glimpse of ever seeing a volcano. Mostly being what seemed to be dormant. But the bay that you are cutting across is very interesting because it is absolutely mist-filled. And you can hear this very dull roar coming from the bay. And it's the roar of rushing water. And you get the sense that not far in on this bay, or perhaps at least what feeds this bay, is a giant waterfall that kicks up enough mist and everything to keep this bay very obscured. And as you're kind of coasting along, it's about midday and great, everything's fine. When all of a sudden, out of that mist comes a black, huge iron claw. And it digs into your boat. Another one digs into your boat. All of a sudden, the boat gives this horrible...
Captain, drop the anchor!
As its motion is stopped and then begins to pull in, Captain Ordame begins shouting orders. Pull up those sails! Let down the anchor! We're in for it now!
Chain?
Is it chain or
it is a
rope or what?
chained anchor.
That's pulling us?
That's pulling us?
Thing
Or
pulling
can we
The thing
rope?
that's pulling you is rope.
I shoot the rope?
I want
was
to
gonna
cut
Is
it.
the rope.
Okay, now that everybody is reacting and everybody... I'll roll initiative.
Okay. Oh. Why am I so
Alright.
bad at initiative rolls?
Me too.
You're good at perception.
Because you're so good at perception. Yeah,
Roll
exactly.
the nat 20. I don't know if it still counts.
Hey.
Hey! I believe initiative nat 20s count, and if they don't, well, too bad, because I just gave all the viewers 10 XP. So, starting with Ven, what'd you get?
7.
Morthos.
22.
Sin.
19.
Runa.
4.
Jesus.
Yes.
Selenia.
3.
Oh, wow. Galinden.
24.
Okay. Glyndon, you are up first. It is a rather thick rope, probably at least 1.5 inches thick.
Okay, well, I have 2 attacks if I make the attack action, so I'm going to shoot at the first one
Okay.
for a 18 to hit
18 hits the rope
for 10 damage.
for 10 damage. Okay, the arrow glides through the air and slices along the side of the rope, and you can see that a number of the strands of this very thick rope kind of snap apart.
Okay, I'll use extra attack to hit the rope, the same rope,
Okay,
for 15 to hit.
15 hits the rope as well.
For 8.
For 8 points of damage. Yet again, another slice catches across, but it catches a different spot of the rope, and so doesn't quite, it's cutting different strands and everything else, and it still holds on.
Okay, I'll use
Coming
my
to-
action surge,
Okay.
sorry, to
No, go
get
ahead.
2 more attacks.
Absolutely.
15,
Hits.
7,
Okay.
16,
Yep.
and 11 damage, all on the same rope.
Excellent. And with a horrendous, the rope snaps off under the pressure. The grappling hook still stuck in the top deck of this ship. And you've got one down. Moving on to Sin now.
Morthos.
Sorry, Morthos. Wow. Sorry.
Alright, yeah, he's gonna like... Oh, wait. Okay, yeah, he's just gonna fire Eldritch Blast at the second rope, right?
Okay.
But he's firing 2 beams now.
Ooh.
Do I roll for each?
Yeah, you roll 2 separate attacks.
Alright, that's 12 and a 13.
12 and a 13 both hit the rope as crackling energy strikes into the rope. Deal me some damage, please.
Uh, 6 and 5, so 11 total.
6 and 5, so 11 total. The damage to the rope is quite major, but it might need a little bit more before it snaps. Sin, now it is your turn.
Sin's gonna snap that rope.
Okay, how are you going to go about doing that, Sin? With your axe, I take it?
Oh yeah. I should be able to cut through that 1.5 inches, no problem.
All right.
And I get 2 attacks now.
Excellent. Ooh, all the fifth level stuff is coming out.
That is a 21 and 17.
21 and 17 both hit the rope. Deal some
Good
damage.
stuff. That is a 9, and that is a 15.
15. Okay, so very quickly, you strike down on the rope twice, and it snaps again, and the ship gives this horrible kind of lets go off of the pressure. Just as that happens, and you all kind of stand around and kind of, yeah, we did it. All of a sudden, you hear this kind of, and it is these war drums coming from the mist. Just as you see a giant harpoon come out, and it comes spiraling out, spinning on its pole. And you see that it must have been aiming maybe for the mainmast, because it cuts quite close and actually catches a crew member right in the chest. And with a cry, he just, and he's off the side of the boat with a splash. And actually, disturbingly enough, if you look, you can see that all of a sudden where he lands, that water turns to red. Apparently, you are in shark-infested waters as well. All right, then you are up. And as you look behind you, you now see coming through the fog, almost like a ghost ship at first, you can see is this burnished ship sided with copper. Its wings seem to be made of dragon wings, copper dragon wings. And you can see that part of the mainsail is most of the wing, and then in the front of the ship on the sides come out two kind of fin-like wings on the side, and you can just hear this driving beat. You're up though still.
How close is it?
The ship currently is about 200 feet away from you.
Okay. I would like to hold my action. I wanna chaos bolt the first person that I see.
Okay. Runa.
I'm going to prepare for this pirate ambush. And as I have nothing that would stop a whole boat, I'm going to cast Beacon of Hope. I'm clutching my holy symbol and say a quick prayer to Kalimdor, and everyone within 30 feet of me that belongs to our crew and to my party will get advantage on wisdom saving throws and on death saving throws, and gets the maximum healing if I choose to cast a healing spell. And as a bonus action, I'm going to cast Sanctuary on myself. So everyone that attacks me has to do a wisdom saving throw in order to do so.
Excellent. All right, and that's your turn.
That's my turn. Can I maybe stand by the main mast or something like that to
Sure.
take cover in case they start firing bolts at us or something?
Sure.
I'm preparing for our ship to be boarded, and I will keep our crew and the party in fighting conditions. So that's what I'm preparing myself for.
All right. Selenia, it is your turn.
Okay. She's gonna grab her. Well, I'm assuming she didn't have her weapons, so she's gonna grab her shield and sword, and go to Morthos and cast Sanctuary on him.
Okay.
And then it's an action, I think.
Okay. An action
No,
for
it's a
Sanctuary?
bonus action.
It's a bonus action.
action.
Okay, so you
So,
still have your action.
I'm gonna
And-
wait for any pirates to board the ship. So I'm
And
gonna
if
hold
you're-
my action.
If you're under Sanctuary, you can't attack. And you can't
I
cast
used it
spells
on-
that affect enemies. Okay.
Oh.
Alright.
All right. So, as we come back to the top of the round, Galinden, you up, and Captain Ordame calls to you and says, "You, Nimble One, I need you up in the rigging. I lost a man."
Yeah, definitely. I'll be right up, and I'm gonna bound up the mast elf style.
Okay, so you very nimbly, very quickly, in fact, at a couple of points, you actually just use your upper body strength to jump about 3 rungs and grab on again and then climb back up. You begin letting the sails down. You are on the foresail, actually, instead of the main mast, the last shot having missed the main mast. And that is going to be your turn. Now, you do know that the captain did say that at full sail, this thing can outrun anything.
I'm gonna prepare to get to the main mast because the foremast is down all the way. All the sails. Okay, so I'm gonna prepare myself to like swing over on a rope or something to get to the main mast and then to the aft sails or the back sails.
Okay, and Morthos, it is your turn.
Okay, he's gonna summon his rapier,
Okay.
bite onto it. Probably the hilt is like right here, so it's balanced. Whatever. He's gonna start climbing the rigging on the main mast.
Okay, you're going to start climbing the rigging on the main mast. As you do, some of the crewmates give out a cheer, a war cry, and we will also cheers our lovely Gloss and Gadgets.
Cheers, Leonie.
And Sin, it is your go.
I yell at the captain. I say, "Is there anything I can do right now?"
She says, "Hey, get on that anchor so we can get the fuck out of here."
I start pulling up that anchor.
Okay, make a strength athletics check for me, please. At advantage, thanks to Cation from way at the beginning of the game, but it has now just come into effect.
23 and 22.
23 and 22 hits.
So I'm gonna yank that anchor all the way up in one pull.
You just kind of get on the capstan and begin just spinning this thing, and it just goes and goes and goes and goes. The rest of you all have this moment where you kind of look, and you swear for a split second that there's another person pushing right alongside Sin. All right. As that happens, all of a sudden, from that ship, you hear... And then, Morthos, you hear whizzing over your head is this ball connected to a chain, connected to another ball. That then... You hear this horrendous cracking of the main mast, and all of a sudden the top half of it begins to kind of crack. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw to ensure that you jump back onto the deck of the ship.
It's the main mast, right?
Yep.
I'm standing right behind that thing. Should I make a dexterity saving throw as well?
No, you're okay because the main mast is breaking about halfway up,
Okay.
and it's falling to the side.
That's,
I guess I can't help Morthos in any way or shape.
That's 13.
13. Okay, you see Morthos disappear over the side of the ship, Runa. And you also see that a number of the crewmates fall off the side of the ship as well, off of the main mast, some who are at the very top, including the watch, who is up in the crow's nest. And you can immediately tell that the ship isn't going to go anywhere without its main mast right now, and you are going to get boarded. The ship closes the gap to 100 feet now that your ship has slowed its momentum completely. As we come to Ven's turn.
Can I see anyone?
You can see a couple of figures standing on the prow of the ship, and they seem to be pulling on these ropes that is pulling this strange iron cylindrical thing forward to the front of the ship again. And they seem to be like shoving something inside of it, and
Okay. How many people can I see?
there's 3 of them.
Okay. I'm going to twin level 3 chaos bolt them. One at each time.
Okay. That is within the range.
It's 120.
Nice. All right. So as the Chaos Bolt goes out,
I got a 23 and a 24.
23 and a 24 hit.
I
Damn.
roll a lot of dice. Hold on. Okay, so the first one is going to do 3 or 5. I'm gonna do fire damage, and it is 8, 9, 10, 11, 16 fire damage.
Shit.
And
Okay.
the other one, dang it, I really want this Chaos Bolt to leap. It's gonna do acid damage, and that's 7, 8, 9, 15, 20 acid damage.
Okay, so describe your Chaos Bolt for me as it goes from the back of the one ship to the front of the other.
I'm standing at the back of the ship, and I just hold one hand up, and 2 orbs come out of my hand. One is black fire, and the other is like black tar, and they just shoot side by side and split right at the end, and just kind of impact the 2 people. I don't care which one, just 2 of them.
Okay, perfect. As you watch these 2 orbs spiral around one another, eating off of one another's energy, and then splitting and striking the 2 individuals, you see the one just screams and pats at the acid burning his flesh, and he just falls off the side of the boat. The other one immediately engulfs in flames, and you see the third guy actually pushes him off of the ship as well, in the hopes that he would not start a fire on board the ship. Then, drawing the first blood from the from the pirate ship that is coming at them. All right, and next up is Runa.
I will rush over to where the mast broke into the water and look around for my friend Morlos.
Okay, you rush over and you see just as one crewmate kind of holding his arm out to you as if he could reach you, all of a sudden a shark just jumps up out of the water and bites him right in half, right in front of you. You look around very frantically now, and you can see Morthos hanging onto a rope on the side of the ship, just as a shark kind of comes up to bite at him, and Morthos just kicks it right in the snout, and the shark kind of falls back into the water.
I rush over and grab him by his shoulders or his belt or whatever and pull him up.
Okay,
on
make a strength check.
Okay. Not too shabby. 17.
17. Okay, Morthos, you feel 2 strong mom arms come over the side and just pull you up over the side of the railing and just kind of pat your cheek, says, "There you go, dear." And then what else do you do, Runa?
Are you hurt?
No. Not as far as I know.
Is anyone else that I can pull up?
Anyone else that you see? There are a couple people that get back over the edge. The rest, you imagine, are long gone.
Oh shit. I will. Is it? Would you consider it my action to pull him up on deck?
Yes, I would have considered that.
It's perfect. I'm happy with that. I guess I just ready my shield and I will stand in front of him for now and look out for pirates. Or is there anything that I can prepare? Do we have a ballista where we can go that we can crank or something like that?
There are 2 ballista on the back of this ship, but there are already crewmates manning them. And just as you kind of look to like be like, because you would have seen them on the travels, right? And just as you kind of go to like, I gotta go fire that thing, all of a sudden you hear as 2 of them are fired, the crewmates now doing their job, all manning their battle stations.
But I'm still going to move towards them because I think
Okay.
if those are our defenses, then they are going to be shot at first, and I could stand there with my shield and maybe give them guidance for better aim or stuff like that.
Okay, absolutely.
So I'm
Yeah,
going to do
absolutely.
that. Mhm.
Okay, so you move standing right beside both ballista crew, now looking like kind of the crew commander with your shield there, the scales, the skeletal hand holding the scales, kind of glancing the sun off and kind of brightening the sky.
And I imagine
Selenia.
that my shield is glowing because I have the beacon of hope going, right?
Yes,
It's going for 1
absolutely.
minute, so there is a slide of radiance shining around
Yeah, and
me, giving them hope.
they kind of look at you in awe and kind of begin to reload almost faster, almost kind of feeling the drive of the gods behind them. Selenia, you're up.
Perfect.
Okay. She's gonna shout to the captain and say, "Is the ship still sailable?"
It is, but we gotta get all that weight off of us now. We gotta cut all the ropes. And you can indeed see that the part of the mainmast now is on its side, dragging in the water, weighing down the side of the ship. And you've probably got about 12 ropes coming off of this mainmast that would all need to be cut for you to be able to get underway again. And even if you do get underway again, there's the possibility that this ship is now going to be able to catch up to you.
Alright. She's going to cast Aid, and she's going to choose Vin, Morthos, and Sin to aid. Says I can pick 3 people.
Mhm.
So your hit points increased by 5 for 8 hours.
Is that temporary hit points, or they just increase the max?
Hit point maximum and current hit points increased by 5. So it says.
Okay.
And then, what ropes are close to me that I could probably get to cut?
There's at least 5 of them.
All right, I'm gonna try to cut those 5. Well, 1, I guess I can only cut 2 then. Like my 2 attacks.
You have already cast Aid. Aid is a bonus action, correct?
No, it's an action, so I can only do 1 attack then.
You cannot do any attacks because it's extra attack that you're using, correct?
Yeah.
Extra attack only engages as part of you using the attack action.
Okay. Then. Yeah. Then,
All right, so you buff your party as well, just as we come to the top of the round again with Galinden. You are up on the foremast. You just watch to your, not really to your horror, but as life was snuffed out by nature. You did note that Morthos is okay. You saw Runa pull him up over the edge, but you are still up on the foresail, having dropped it. Really quickly looking around too, you can see approaching from a distance away a nasty looking storm.
Okay. Do I see someone behind the wheel of their ship at my height?
Behind the wheel of the ship? Absolutely you do. The captain is there.
Okay, so they're about 100 feet away from us.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna use enfeebling shot on the captain. Well, I have to hit first, and then I'll use it. But I'm gonna take 2 shots at the captain with my longbow.
Oh, on the other ship, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay. At first, I was very confused as to why you were attacking your own captain, but I got you. I'm there.
17 to hit the enemy captain.
17 to hit the enemy captain. Hits.
Okay, he's got to make a con save.
Constitution saving throw for him. He rolls a natural 20.
Okay, so he won't do half damage, but he'll still take 2d6 necro.
Okay.
5 necrotic and 8 piercing.
5 necrotic and 8 piercing damage to the captain.
My second attack is a 19 to hit.
19 also hits.
And 12
the
piercing.
thunder and lightning is beginning to be heard rolling across the ocean.
I did 12 piercing to him.
Excellent.
And I'm on like the foremast, so I'm gonna stay there.
Okay. You stay there. And Morthos, it's your turn.
Okay. It's gonna take his rapier out of his mouth. Probably help Selenia cut the ropes.
Okay, make some attacks.
That is a 10 and a 26.
A 10 and a 26. 10, unfortunately, the first strike you go to do, the ship hits a particularly rough wave, and you kind of like, oh! And then you kind of right yourself, and you're like, I got this. You smack down on the rope, and you absolutely do hit it, slicing into the rope.
Roll damage still?
Yep.
Okay. 15.
15. Okay. A rope snaps and spirals off. Next up is Sin.
I take it the boat is not anywhere close to jumping distance.
No, it's still about 100 feet.
Okay. I'm going to just hit the ropes.
Okay. Make some attacks. You can attack 2 of the ropes. You guys have 9 left to destroy. You can have advantage on this, thanks to Exilium.
Let me bust out my other 20. That is a dirty 20 and a 18.
Okay. That's to hit.
Yeah, both of
That
them
absolutely hits.
So
You
I'm
are
gonna
a rope.
look at one rope and I'm gonna slap at it, and then the other rope I'm gonna bring my axe right back around and slice the other one.
Excellent. 2 ropes go down, and you can feel that weight now shifting and breaking off of the ship. And you get the sense that, yeah, if you get these out before that ship closes its distance, you might be okay. But the ship now gets to within 30 feet of the back of your ship.
Quick question. Since we're rolling to hit these, am I able to use Great Weapon Master if I basically hit something and make it go to 0, I have another attack?
Yes, but because we've already resolved those last 2 rolls, you'll have to apply that next time.
Okay.
All right, and all of a sudden, a hail of arrows comes flying from the other ship. Probably about 10 different arrows come flying in. Runa, you hold up your shield and feel 2 arrows sink into it. Morthos, you manage to dodge out of the way. Nobody takes damage except for the crew. 2 more of them falling dead.
Instant kill, or the ones beside me are just falling to the ground?
They've just dropped down. You're not sure if they're necessarily dead, but definitely the Wilhelm scream, the "Ow!" and then they fall down to the ground.
Okay.
And the reason that none of you got hit was thanks to a DM disadvantage from Exilium.
Nice. Thank you.
For the ones hitting me, they would have had disadvantage anyways.
Yes.
It's a sanctuary.
And the storm continues to build and approach, and in fact, the waves now begin to get choppier. Then you're up.
So, did we kill the captain, or is the captain just really damaged?
Captain is still quite damaged.
Okay. I have a choice here. I can either try and kill the captain, or I can blind everyone on the ship.
Well, that's entirely up to you.
I'm gonna choose a point that covers because I can. It's a 15-foot radius. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna include the captain and the wheel and everything in front of it, and I'm gonna
Okay.
put darkness right in the middle.
Okay.
So now they are in pitch black darkness. They cannot see through.
Okay. So all of a sudden, that entire deck, the kind of back stern castle of the ship and the middle of the deck, all of a sudden just is shrouded in darkness. And then you hear, even at this distance from 30 feet away, you hear the cries of alarm.
I want to also, as my bonus action, summon my Shadow Blade.
The Shadow Blade appears in your hands. And just for the viewers, go ahead and describe your blade again for us.
It's kind of like a glassy obsidian type material with that drips shadow, like just liquid shadow, just like drips off of it, and it's jagged and just it looks really painful.
Sweet, sweet. All right, Runa, you are up.
Yes, and the two beside me have fallen, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am going to kneel and put my hand on the one right next to me, and I will cast Cure Wounds at first level. And because of Beacon of Hope, that one gets max hit points from the spells, which are 13 right now.
Excellent.
And then I'm using Circle of Mortality and reach basically through the planks of the ship for the body of his comrade. And I'm casting Spare the Dying as a bonus action, ranged, because that is a special feature of the Grave Cleric.
Excellent,
And
excellent.
I helped the crewmate that I just healed up and push him to the ballista and say, I know this is hard, but we have to fend them off until we are cut loose and can outrun them, and help him crank the ballista or whatever.
Okay, all right. Selenia, you're up.
Okay. I'm gonna check the. You said there was 9 left.
There is now 7 left.
7. Okay, I must check one of those ropes.
Okay.
And 19 and 11 because I rolled for my extra attack.
Yep. 19 and 11. 19 and 11 both hit.
Okay. So do I roll? Yeah, you do roll 2 damages, right?
Yes, absolutely you do.
Okay. First one is 9 damage. And the second one is 6 damage.
9 damage and 6 damage. Perfect. Together you snap yet another rope, and you now have 6 left. However, as we come to the top of the round, the front of the storm now fully envelops yours. The waves pitch your boat up and down. The wind howls. Heavy rain is in your face. It is not nice. Not nice at all. This seems to be one of the full-blown tropical storms that you have usually weathered on the peninsula, but now you are stuck out in the middle of the ocean on one. Galinden, you're up.
I can't see anyone on the enemy ship now, right?
Oh yeah, you can see still quite a few. The rain hasn't gotten to the point where it's going to heavily obscure you. You couldn't necessarily make out the back of the ship, but you will have regular attacks on anything on the front of the ship, and there's quite a few people. You can see at least I'm going to say about 6 individuals so far on that ship.
It's the rest of the ship that's in darkness. Okay. Yeah, I'll. Can I shoot any of the ropes from here, from where I am?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'll take 2 shots at 2 separate ropes.
Okay.
I think you're muted again. Or wrong push to button. Wrong button, maybe.
Oh, I got a 17 on the first one.
Yep.
And a 12 on the second.
Both hit.
Seven on the second.
Okay. What'd you get for the first? Because I don't think it quite caught you, the push to talk.
It was 6 damage on the first one and 7 on the second one.
Second one. Okay, so the arrows sink in and cut them about halfway, but then the pressure of the waves and the pull on the sails and everything else snaps those 2 ropes as well, leaving you with 4 ropes left to deal with as we come to Morthos.
I'm going to go down with my movement, I'm going to go down the mast I'm on. So I'm going to just be at the front of the ship now.
Yep, sounds good. Morthos.
Okay, I'm gonna try to get to. Can I melee attack 2 ropes right now, or am I gonna have to?
Yeah, within your movement, absolutely, you definitely
Okay, cool.
can.
I'll do that then. So that is a 10 and 27 to hit.
Both the 10 does not, as the ship pitches yet again. The other one does, though.
That's 7 damage.
7 damage. Okay, you hit, and again, that rope, you kind of hit it, and you watch as it strains against the pressure, and then snaps with the remaining damage, leaving 3 left as we come to Sin.
Just going to recap. I didn't use the great weapon, so that means I get 3 attacks. Okay. So am I going to have to roll for the next attack or just hit the other one?
You'll have... No, because you have to... You now have to attack again, but if you're going to use Great Weapon Master, if you sever one of the ropes, you'll be able to attack a 3rd time.
Okay, so I'll roll 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay, so my first roll was a 19.
Hits.
Second was another 19.
Hits.
The other one is a 13. Or
Hits.
15, sorry.
Okay,
Cool,
so
they
roll
all-
your damage consecutively, because if you don't sever a rope, which is highly unlikely, but if you don't sever a rope, the 3rd hit won't happen.
First hit is a 6.
Okay,
Second is a 12.
rope snaps.
And the last hit is a 11.
And the last hit is a 11. All right. Another rope snaps, leaving 1 left as the ship closes its gap and
How are
comes
they
right up
steering?
against your ship.
They can't see.
I know they can't see, but they're just relying on their last known position of a ship, which was 30 feet behind you.
Ugh, okay.
They come up to you. However, they don't necessarily know, apart from the ones in the front, that they are right beside your ship. So the ones in the front are going to try and shoot down on you, rain down arrows on you. So each of you are going to be facing an arrow attack. The one against you, Runa, will have disadvantage. And actually, he needs to make...
Wait a second, what? Someone is attacking me and has disadvantage? Or I have disadvantage?
Didn't you say that they have disadvantage on you?
Oh yes, they have when they attack me with spells
Yes.
or weapon attacks.
Okay, so an arrow comes flying in, but you just bash it away with your shield. Morthos,
One
arrow
doesn't
at
move me.
you, misses.
They
Sin,
also have
arrow at
sanctuary.
you, misses. Okay, and then an arrow comes flying at you, and all of a sudden a crewmate kind of inadvertently gets in the way, and the arrow catches him right in the neck with this horrible just and all of a sudden the blood spray just splashes all up your face, and a little bit of blood gets on your lips and on your tongue.
Okay. Whose turn is it?
Still attacking you. Selenia, you have an attack, and it misses, and Galinden, you have an attack that also misses. Apparently, the storm is causing all sorts of problems as we come now to Ven.
How close is that ship?
The ship is 5 feet at a jumping distance from rail to rail.
Okay. Would it be? Oh shit. The guy in front of me is dead, right? Like he's super dead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I am going to. I guess I'm going to try to. So there's a couple people on the front of the ship that can see. They're outside of the circle.
Yep.
Okay. Tony, stop yelling. I can still hear you. Okay. I'm going to magic missile 2 of them.
Okay.
I'm gonna hit them each with 2.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, 1 takes 4, 1 takes 5. And my fangs definitely come out.
Okay. 1 takes 4, 1 takes 5. They both take the damage and stand there and bear your fangs at them just as lightning strikes, framing your feral beauty. Runa.
Yes. How many of our crew are down from the last volley of arrows?
About 3.
3. Okay. And from my party, no one has been hurt so far,
From your
right?
party, no one has been hurt.
I think I'm going to do the same thing I did last turn. I will reach out for the next crewmate who's in 60 feet of me to stabilize that one with a bonus action with Spare the
Okay.
Dying to anchor the gleam of life basically in his physical body. And I'm going to... is someone close enough by that I can... Oh, I could send Corvin to the next and to land on and cast Cure Wounds through my
Okay.
familiar. And that one gets 13 hit points back and is being carefully packed into the nose with a squeak like, get up!
Okay.
And I help the crew member right beside me to keep on firing the
Okay,
ballista.
at this point, you help him fire the ballista, and you see that the bolt actually catches 2 individuals and carries them off of the ship, off of the other side. You managing to do battle quite well. Just as we come to Selenia. Selenia, there is 1 last rope left.
Well, I'm gonna cut it.
All right, roll some attacks. Don't make me cut a rope. Goddamn, Selenia is gonna cut a rope. Or what'd you get for your attacks?
First one's a 19. The second one's a 8, so I don't think that one hits.
8 does not, 19 does.
And damage die is 5.
Okay, so you cut this rope, and you kind of glance it, and you kind of stare at this rope, kind of a little disappointed because you know you haven't severed it. And then all of a sudden you see it, and it absolutely breaks off with a horrendous... The ship all of a sudden catches full wind into its sails and is able to pull away, immediately wresting you from the ship. And you're immediately launched, but you are not out of danger yet. The captain immediately begins shouting orders. I need you all up in the sails. I need you to help me batten down. We've got a storm to outrun. Okay, at this point, the rain begins to set in, losing visibility behind the sheets of torrential downpour that you now having approaching you. The wind howls in your ears as you climb up onto the rigging. Sin, you're loving this. This is the call of your god. This is Talos. Okay, as you shout to the sky a call to Talos, all of a sudden a lightning strike slams down and hits the middle of the ship, and all of a sudden the ship is entirely shrouded in blue glow as all of your hairs stand on end as you look, and the entire ship becomes charged, and then it disappears. You're pulling rigging, you're moving the sails, everything's going chaotic, and you've been flying now through the ocean, not even sure where you are, and then all of a sudden, a louder boom, a greater boom than the lightning and everything else around you. This gigantic... Looking off, just in the obscuring distance, you see this flare of red, and then all of a sudden, splashing next to you, and immediately searing is molten hot rock, as you are apparently now near a volcanic eruption in the middle of a tropical storm. The captain begins shouting even more orders as magma slams down around you. It is pure chaos as you see a crewmate simply get picked up by the wind and thrown off overboard. You have no idea where you went, nor do you even try and look for him. And then you begin to hear it. This dull roar that slowly builds and builds and builds, and then a lightning strikes, framing the landscape beyond. You see a monstrous wave heading your way. The captain cries out, "We've got to turn into it! Quick! I need at least one of you to make an acrobatics check, one of you to make a strength athletics check, and one of you to make a sleight of hand check, whoever is most proficient, as all of you are now on the rigging, on the masts."
I'm pretty
You
okay
just
with
strength.
athletics.
I've got strength, like saving.
Me
or
too.
saving. Yeah.
Probably got
So do I.
Okay. So one can aid the other in the strength check. I need an acrobatics check and a sleight of hand check, please.
I can do acrobatics.
Okay.
I'm really
And
bad at all of those.
Who's doing the sleight of hand?
I guess I might as well.
Okay, so Selenia is aiding you, Sid. So you will have advantage on this. Morthos, you will have advantage thanks to Skirl. And Galindin, you are on your own. Sorry.
I got a 17.
Nice.
I could help him. He's doing a strength-based thing, right?
Dex space.
Galinden is doing
Okay.
acrobatics, yeah.
Then I rather don't. I'm really bad with Dex.
Okay, Morthos, what'd you get?
8.
8?
With
At
advantage, yes.
Oy
I rolled a
vey.
5 and a 6, and I have a +2. This sucks.
Okay. And Sin.
18.
Okay, so together you and Selenia begin pulling on lines to kind of pull the sails to a certain way. And then you see that the captain is having troubles actually turning the wheel. So you get over and begin humming this song to Talos, this room, da room. And you just throw this wheel, and the captain just lets go as you just kind of one-handed are just throwing this wheel with all of your strength. And yet again, you see framed in this light a secondary person on the other side of the wheel, pulling the handles down. Sin with this absolutely ferociousness, just throwing this wheel. Selenia, you're left to pull the rope. Galinden, your acrobatics check, you manage to leap from one part of the mast to another and get onto the foresail again to tie up that side. Morthos, you're struggling with your rope looking at this wave, and this is the thing of nightmares. This is the thing you never want to encounter. And it's been ingrained in you that rogue waves are deadly, and that moment allows you to slip up on the knot of you tying up the sail, and you let down a small corner of it that's just enough to catch the wind and pull you broadside as this wave comes crashing down. For a split second, time stops as all of you are just simply motionless in air, thrown off of the deck of the ship, almost Inception style, as the ship is now almost completely upside down. You all see yourselves framed for just a minute as you all come out of the ocean, breathing heavily, air looking around. You don't see anything. Runa, your armor is beginning to weigh you down. It's beginning to get heavier and heavier to tread water. All of a sudden, a body comes and hits you, and you think, well, better hold on to it. And you hold on to it until you can finally find a peace. All of you are separated. All of you, out of sheer exhaustion, pass out from fighting the storm. The storm dies down. The winds go away. Morthos, you awaken. You can hear seagulls cry. You kind of reach your hands in and you feel sand. You spit sand out of your mouth. Kind of stand up and you look around. There is just wreckage strewn all up and down this coastline. Looking across on the eastern bank of this bay that you are now in, you can still see the erupting volcano shooting magma into the sky that splashes down at a safe enough distance that you're not going to be hurt. You can also see a long flowing river of lava coming down the mountainside, carving its way through and pouring into the waters, so much so that you can see that entire western bank is completely full of rot, sulfuric gases, everything else. You managed to be lucky enough to land on this side. What do you do?
Looking for my companions.
Roll a perception check.
14.
14. You look around and all of a sudden, ow, something blinds you. It's this gleam, and you run over, and it's Runa. Face down, completely waterlogged, shield on her back.
Roll her over. She's breathing. God.
You roll her over, and you're panicking. Runa, no! All of a sudden, Runa, you throw up. Seawater comes spewing out. You don't know how, but you are alive.
Rhoda, come on, get on your feet. We gotta find the others.
What? Where are we?
We're
I
on
try
the shore
to
right now.
stand
We
up
need to
and
find the
bubble
others.
around. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just come on. I know. Just get on your feet. It's gonna be rough for a minute.
Okay. And I cling to you, wobbling a bit, and then I can I can give us the bird eye view if you want.
Anything. We need to find the others quick. I hope that they're not on the other side.
I call for Corvin, who's most likely has been. He most likely has been gone back to his pocket dimension, so I call him forth, and I
he
pat
flies
him,
up to look around.
and then I send him up exactly, and I hold on to Morthos to look through the eyes of my familiar to see if the others have been as lucky as we were and are lying there. And the good thing is I can use my own perception when I look through Corvin's eyes.
Okay, so as that happens,
good.
Sin, you awoke quite early, found one of your companions, Selenia, dragged her up, got the water out of her lungs, but she is still unconscious at the moment. There is nothing else around you. Looking around, all you see is jungle and mountains. Off in the distance, you can see a mountain spewing rocks out of its peak.
I kind of is there like maybe like some sort of water around that I can see?
There's still the ocean. Like you're on a beach, but
cool.
it is still just jungle that like there's not even any debris here. Is what I should have been more specific with. You're on a beach, but there's no debris, there's nothing else around except for jungle. And then this mountain off in the distance. To get to that mountain, you would have to travel west.
Okay, I go to the ocean real quick and I try and splash some water on Selenia to see if she'll wake up from that.
Okay, Selenia, you wake up.
Whoa. I'll get you.
I said we've got to hurry. I can't find anybody else. You and I are just the only ones together. I don't know where we are. There's a volcano spewing rocks, and we have to get to safety.
Is the volcano like real close?
Maybe. Hard to tell. The jungle kind of obscures the distance, so maybe within a day, perhaps.
Yeah, we better get moving. So she tries to get up.
I help her up.
And you guys begin moving. Just as we move to Ven and Galinden, you both are alone on the water, holding on to a bit of boat. You've awoken. Then, with everything that has happened to you, Galinden, with everything you know about Ven, and each pairing now realizes one very significant thing, especially you, Runa, looking through your perception of Raven, of Corvin.
Mhm.
You cannot see any of your companions.
Oh no.
And each pairing begins to realize that it is just the two of you.
Just the two
And
of
that's
us.
where we're going to end tonight's session.
Oh dear.
I'm gonna eat Glendon. And not in the not in the
Gonna try.
Titanic sexual way. No, he's gonna die.
Are those Kevin's
Interesting.
headcanon ships?
No. No.
Okay.
It is more, this will prove to be the most interesting, having just split the party 3 ways.
Mhm.
We split up, gang. We can
good
unmask the
thing
monster.
This wasn't our choice. To
No.
everyone who's watching, this was the DM splitting us up.
Yeah.
So
Today's episode was called Out of the Frying Pan.
Yeah.
Any guess as to what next week's episode is called?
And
Scrambled
into
eggs.
the water.
The Hobbit
Ben
Part
eats
2 by J.R.
Oh.
Tolkien. That's basically what happens.
Well, I guess you'll just have to follow us on Twitter to find out what the name of the next week's episode is. Well, 2 weeks from now, I should say, not next week. Tomb of Annihilation returns for a split party extravaganza June 10th. So please join us then, same time, same great place. In the meantime, if you want to catch all our other games or join one yourself or start one yourself or come and hang out with us, join us on our Discord, Fumbles and Fame, or you can follow us on Twitter at Fumbles and Fame. In the meantime, have fun with all of your home games and claim your own fame. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye, everyone. See ya.
Uh,
See you next time. Thanks for watching and for redemptions.
Bye-bye. Have a wonderful time.